Why does mine still say schedule?
Boom, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. That's right, folks. We are live and back at it again. We are the Wrasslin for Life Network, and we got a whole crew here tonight, and we're ready to go. We have a stacked card for AEW Dynamite. Lots to talk about. Lots going on. Still more rumors, more news, more CM Punk stuff. But we are going to dive into it for 2+ hours tonight. The boys are chatty. They're ready to go. They're feeling the energy. Let's go. And we are live. Ding, ding, ding. I got Chris Jericho coming out to the ring already with the society. I won't dirty up the intro. So, folks, like I said, we are live. We are going to cover 2 hours. Look, he's got a patch. Wow.
Not by choice. It was in the All Elite crate. I'm giving this away to somebody.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with that.
I was going to say, please give that away.
Well, sir, thank you for coming tonight.
Absolutely.
No. Folks, as always, we were rocking and rolling. We're happy to have another special guest on the live stream, a familiar face at this point. But Mr. Big Rig from DWO, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. About yourselves?
Not too bad. Not too bad. And I should let you introduce yourself tonight.
Oh, no. Well, first off, I was about to do, the following introduction has been brought to you and paid for by the DWO.
By the DWO.
But no, for those of you who don't know what, I'm Big Nick. What? Absolutely. You got big on big action right now going.
That's right.
Big beefy boy slapping meat and KJ's.
That's right.
It's a beefy sandwich.
Those are my favorite matches.
That being said, folks, out comes Cesaro and Wheeler Yuta. And if you didn't know, I am Mr. KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube. Happy to be here again with everybody. Always fun when we have a crowd on stream with us. And guys, I mean, Nick, you messaged me today and you're like, dude, I'm coming tonight. The card's stacked.
Oh, yeah. We're starting off right now with Jericho and Garcia versus Claudio and Yuta. Like, that's a pay-per-view match, I feel.
This is, absolutely is.
And that's how we're starting. Like, we've still got Swerve in Our Glory versus FTR for the number one contendership.
God.
We've got Mox versus Penta for the AEW title. We've still got Danielson versus Sammy Guevara. Like this. Why can't you book like this all the time, Tony?
This is legit a mini pay-per-view going on right now.
Why can't this be a Quake at the Lake or some sort of special show? Right. You save, Willow versus, Jade for shit like that. No offense to your lady, but
not
come
battle.
on now.
Little offense.
I was stoked when Willow got signed, man. I mean, like, finally. Like, I think she already was. They were just waiting for a time to, like, announce it because, like, she had the shirt on Shop AEW and everything like that.
Yeah,
but what am I missing about Willow?
I personally love. I'm a huge mark for a girl that can pounce because I love the pounce is one of my favorite moves ever. Like I see, Keith Lee do it, whatever, and Willow's is just so good, and just something about her is like really, to me, is really magnetic, and I love that.
Yep.
So,
Nick, are you a Willow fan?
I'm in the middle. I'm, Goldilocks here in this whole situation of I can see where there's their faults and everything. And there's also points to where I get, getting behind her and everything like that. She does have a little bit of that, I guess, underdog. And she has a good personality and everything. She is entertaining. It's just one of those of they haven't put anything behind her and they just kind of drop her into like a spot. It's like, no, let me get invested first.
Right. Well, and they got a builder, like you said, they've just been dropping her in little spots here and there. And I think that's where, me and Nick have talked about this before. Make one of your YouTube shows like an ROH show.
Absolutely.
Until you can get it on TV, make that, put all your belts on that. People will watch it. You know what I mean? Like ROH had a pretty big following before Tony bought it.
Right.
Do it.
Let them seek it out. Absolutely. I have no problem with that at all. And I mean, again, you start building that brand. And then when at the time, when you're pushing for the deal, now that you have like a little representation of what you want to do with it. And in addition to that, you now have the opportunity to just grow that following and then blend it into where you end up going with it.
Right.
Sounds smart to me.
Yeah, well, that's what they should have done from the jump when they bought Ring of Honor, and then they just kind of, now we don't know what to do with it, and it's at times, I want to say, hindered AEW because now they have to fit Ring of Honor into it because they have nowhere else to go with it. So many titles diminishes your AEW titles,
and
that's
what I'm saying. You got to defend. Yeah, you got to defend two world championships,
right?
You now have 2 trios championships because you have the ROH 6-man. You have 2 women's championships. You got TNT. You got the television championship. It's like there's so much, man.
So many, and you still have
Samoa Joe's the television champion, and he's in a tag team with Wardlow, who's the TNT champion. Like, why? I love both of them.
That man got put on ice with, coming out there. Like you've even mentioned in a bunch, KJ, of like that spot's where he's on top of the cage after celebrating and everything. They make him team champion. You were basically set up for this man to be the next Goldberg, the next Batista, what have you. And then they just put him completely on ice of, now you're in a tag team.
Oh, yeah. They cooled him right off, Nick. It's been bad. And I mean, for me, I think those are the easy ones. Like once it takes off, all you got to do is kind of nurture that flame. Don't let it go out.
Right.
And then, you have Wardlow and Joe who are over with singles titles in a tag team. You got FTR. We only see them in like 6-man tags or singles. Like it's a lot of confusing shit. Now we're getting them tonight. I know.
By the way,
but for a long time, I mean, their last tag team match was back in June?
Yeah.
Now, what other company though do you see talent on another promotion calling out their boss?
That's crazy.
Saying, "Hey, book me."
I mean, I think that might have been a little kayfabe thing going on, but still,
they're not wrong though.
They're
Work
not,
or
not
shoot,
wrong.
It's not wrong.
They're not wrong at all.
And that's the thing, we don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
We were able to meet them last week when we went to Cincinnati for Dynamite, and that was awesome. That was like, I mean, my handle nickname here is named after their finishing move. So
is that when you do the Wayne's World of like, we're not worthy?
Oh my dude, I was so nervous, but those 2 guys, 2 of the nicest guys on earth, man. Like just awesome dudes.
Nice.
Because like obviously I had my daughter there with me, and she was, real nervous, and Dax and Cash, they were both super sweet to her and everything. Dax is like, "Oh, you and my daughter would be best friends," and this, that, and the other. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Now I will remind everybody we are into the match. If you haven't made a prediction yet between Cesaro, Yuta, and the Jericho Society, right now Jericho's in control. So if you get your Nick pick in,
pause.
And let us know who you're taking in this match. Do either of you have a prediction?
Well, I was going to first say send Nick picks responsibly first.
Yeah,
don't send any unsolicited Nick picks.
Right.
Go ahead, Big Rig.
I'm gonna say Jericho Garcia, just because that seems to be the way that this whole storyline's going. Is they're overtly cheating in every single match and desecrating ROH and this, that, and the other. And I'm sure it'll set something up that some babyface can finally, we beat them because they're cheating all the time.
Right. Like, I think Jericho all but said that something akin to that is like, when somebody finally takes me down, they'll be huge. And I'm like,
and his name should have been Bryan Danielson.
Right. And that's what I don't like is that they scheduled that so quick. Like Danielson should have been one of the last champions he went against to like either take it off of him or he does that cheating spot and then like Garcia's like, no, F this, and then he takes it off of him or something.
Right.
Danielson's the one who should have won the belt initially. It should have never gone to Jericho.
Oh, agreed. Yeah.
So that's, I guess,
for sure
why I have to keep up, my anti-Jericho campaign of, I guess going for Blackpool Combat Club. Although I don't disagree with what you were saying there, Big Rig.
I want Blackpool to win. Who
Yeah.
I think's going to win is an entirely different matter.
True story. I think I'm going with Big Rig on this one as far as, the Jerk Off Society has been kind of, we'll get some type of, tomfoolery at the end of this match, and Jericho will slide away as the winner and think he's doing a service for all of wrestling because he's the hero of all of wrestling. So there we go. And hold on tight for it.
Well, and I'll ask you. Go
ahead.
I'll ask this to both of you, and I'll ask this to the chat, which I know we've been terrible at getting to. So, Victor, what up? Canadian Spaceman, Mike, JV, Joe, everybody, Timothy, what? But do either of you give a shit anymore about the Daniel Garcia face turn, heel turn? Like, did that whole storyline surprise matter to you at all?
Here's what I was upset with is they had essentially the same storyline in the women's division with Hayter and Britt Baker, and they didn't pull the trigger on either of them. Like, if you're going to do two of them, pull the trigger on one.
Do something.
Right.
Which I feel like the Baker Hayter one was freaking plain as day. And I thought that one not doing it made less sense than the Garcia one. That's
what I've been saying for the longest time. That's why I've been the flag bearer for Jamie Hayter. Is that they should have done she should have done like what Wardlow did with MJF of, the Batista heel turn or face turn of,
Yeah, just down.
Right.
And that, look at Yuta just getting after it.
Yeah.
That was, kind of my thing is I thought with her not turning, what was that at Grand Slam where you thought she was going to turn? I thought, okay, she's going to turn here, and then that's going to set up her and Baker at Full Gear.
Yep.
But then Saraya came in, and it was like, okay, that's going to be Baker.
That's going to be a match for sure.
Which kind of, to me, sucks for Hayter because it kind of puts her on the back burner, like, oh, we're going to keep you with Baker. But
just had a 2 count with Yuta in control at the moment. Jericho dazed. You guys are probably slightly ahead of me.
I got Yuta with a spinning DDT as Claudio goes to cover.
I got Claudio.
There we go.
Nope. Claudio. Well,
what's
Claudio
up,
springboard? Code breaker.
No, you are ahead. What's up, Jack? No, my issue is they kind of did it with Luchasaurus as well, right? Like, not everybody can have this moment of doubt. Like, Lucha, I'm your friend. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Okay, no, I'm not. And you're like, fuck. Just now we're doing it with Hayter, like you said. We kind of did it with Wardlow and MJF forever, where it was like, oh, he's going to turn now. No, he's not. And then they finally got there, but not everyone needs to do that two-step forever.
Yuta with a tope on the outside to everybody.
Uh-oh. Doink.
Jericho's got the bat.
Screw you, Jericho. Good night. Why is he? Oh, he's going to swing. Let's go.
Powerbomb by Claudio.
Let's go.
Going swinging.
What's that?
I said we're
going for a swing. Up, nope. Here comes Garcia. Oh, he's got him on his back. Let's go. He's going to do the private party spot that he did. Yes.
I'm waiting for the day Claudio does a UFO while doing the swing.
Right?
Yes. Garcia on his back, Jericho in his arms.
Doing the swing. Wow.
Get out of here, Hager.
And that's a man, though, still. Like, it's interesting that even he lost the Ring of Honor World title if we're going back to that whole thing of, like,
right.
He came in and he pissed off Jonathan Gresham because Claudio was the bigger star. We're going to have him run the brand when we actually make it a brand. And then they gave it to Jericho. And now it's, who gives a shit about Ring of Honor? Now we're trying to literally talk shit about Ring of Honor as much as we can before we make it a weekly show.
But it's just taking up so much of your actual show, right? And this it's been this ongoing trend, which I think has hurt the momentum of AEW.
Wow.
Oh,
sorry, I'm ahead.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Shit.
3. Hey.
Well,
clean
as a whistle.
I'm so confused.
Cesaro pins the Ring of Honor World Champion
with a neutralizer. Should have never lost the title, like I just said.
I'm so confused by that clean win.
Are we setting up them Cesaro, or are we setting up Claudio Jericho 2? Is that what we're doing?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, because who does he challenge next, or who does he defend the title against next after he challenged again, or he defended against Dalton Castle?
Right.
Oh, I'm sure there's.
Which, by the way, watching that live last week was awesome.
Nice.
Oh, was it?
Yes. Freaking dude, Castle was over in Cincinnati. It was
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Him calling for "Give me a boy" and freaking launching out of the ring. Right? That was so good.
I said AEW needs more Dalton Castle. It was great.
No, what you need is an actual Ring of Honor show to where you could spotlight a guy like Dalton Castle. Right. You could spotlight somebody like Willow and everything. If you use whether it be Rampage or it be a YouTube show, it be Dark or Dark Elevation. And I've got Danielson getting interviewed backstage right now
by Miss Paquette, and he is pissed. I can't hear what he's saying, but he's pissed.
He's not happy, probably because he forgot how to wrestle once he joined this company.
Who's got a longer losing streak, Bryan Danielson or Austin Theory?
Austin Theory.
Oh,
yeah.
Who has the worst record? Danielson face to face.
I'm interested to see. It looks like we're setting up for a Danielson Yuta match, and I'm interested to see that. If
I would like that.
Mox Yuta.
Oh, they're shoving each other.
I just want a Danielson heel turn. I want him to go back to being the
pretty little heel. Before BCC. Yeah, he's found in the shadows here.
Where he would like arrogantly insult everybody with a smile. It was lovely.
I loved that when he was going through, like, for the Hangman build, how he was just going through every member of the Dark Order and just being like, I'm just going to kick all their asses. It's going to be
right.
He just smile about it. And
is this we're seeing the end of BCC maybe down the road, or we're starting to see the fractures and everything?
Yeah, I hope so.
I don't know. I don't know that they need to be done yet.
Well, I'm still of the mindset that maybe we get MJF and Regal together.
Bucks are actually on TV.
Shut up. Shut up.
They're not physically.
They're in an ad in a commercial.
Oh.
They're getting Thanos snapped out like the fucking.
Oh my
way to
God.
Put these fuckers over. Well, the most self-relating team that I've ever seen. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go ask your mother. They're acting like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are getting Thanos snapped out of the AEW universe. Like, fuck off.
That was literally, like it was showing all their big moments and them like fading away.
Right.
And even they showed AEW at the end and the E goes away.
Yeah, wow. Fuck off.
Do you think this is ironic that this particular thing is in front of us right now on the heels of the news, of a potential buyout for Punk?
And that their return is imminent too, is what I've seen.
Yes.
That they're about to come back as the Elite is what I've seen.
Yeah.
Just the ego, all ego wrestling. Just for fuck's sake. You don't have to do that. Make it a goddamn surprise. Why do you have to sit there and try and do forced shit like that to try and get yourself over?
Because you can. Because
I'm on a tangent here, but for fuck's
because
sake.
of the role you have, you get away with that, Nick. Because of who you are, who your best friend is,
your boss is.
Exactly. When you're sitting there, tandem stroking your boss, yeah, you kind of get what you want, and that's what I fucking feel like. It is time and time again, and to me, I mean, it's a really interesting debate. Who would you rather have in your company? Who's going to help your company more? And it's divided. The wrestling world is divided on this one.
Well, no, I know. I want to get Big Rig's opinion on this because we haven't really. You've been quiet during this whole thing, so I want to know what you're thinking.
No, I'm letting you guys talk.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot because I do believe that Bucks and Omega need to just be talent. I don't think they need to have that EVP title or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of longevity, you need to have the Elite over Punk because Punk is going to be a toxic presence in your locker room.
I don't think so.
And I think that just for the longevity of the company and from everything I've been hearing out of the locker room, everybody's like, they don't want Punk back. And I feel like that's just, you bring him back, you're basically telling your whole locker room, you know.
Right. So, yeah, I'm a bit of that mindset, a little bit of that. To me, Punk's there's no chance of him going back to AEW. That locker room is completely turned against him. That's the Young Bucks. That's the elites. That's everybody that they've signed. It's their buddies. So the minute he was fuck them, they're like, fuck you.
Right.
So I could see Punk maybe going more towards WWE if that's going to happen. Hi, Ashley. If he's not done with pro wrestling as a whole, I still think I've said it for the longest time. This very much reeks of WCW in the last couple of years of when you have guys, even like Jericho, who's now when it is re-signing, giving himself more of a creative presence backstage. It gets too many guys that are on-screen talent of their hands involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I because like with WCW, that was the big problem is all those guys had huge guaranteed contracts with creative control and all that stuff, which I think TK did rein that in a little bit at first, because like there was a moment where they were literally running the shows and he was like, no, I'm gonna take which I think he did the right thing in saying I'm gonna book everything, but now he needs to, which me and KJ talked about this, like, let's delegate a little bit. You have the Mark Henry big shows, the William Regals, Madison Rain, like you have people around you, delegate and let them you guys can create an amazing show. Like we know it's there. Just loosen the reins, but loosen it to people in the office, not your talent.
Yeah, not the talent. Talent needs to stay out of it. And I mean, that becomes the problem. And I think historically through wrestling, talent being too involved in booking has always been an issue. Mm-hmm. This is no different. And I mean, it's unfortunate because I legitimately think if Tony had found a way to turn this into some type of angle, some type of, you know, bring them all back and write it into your story, you'd easily push 1 million plus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. No matter where I guess Punk goes, there's money to be made on the table.
There is. Oh, I'm sure Fox, from what I've heard, Fox really wants him.
Absolutely.
So I mean, even if he doesn't wrestle, like just having him in some capacity, like I'm sure Triple H is, you know, obviously business savvy enough.
Well, see, I've seen.
Well, they just showed the graphic for the Fight Forever game. Punk's still on the front.
Surprised that's not just switched with them three and Page.
Well, it's interesting. Sorry, go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just talking about the Fight Forever game. When I first saw that graphic, like when they first debuted it, and he was front and center, I thought that has to be the biggest slap in the face to everybody that's been here the past 3 years.
True.
Like, I understand business-wise, he is a draw. Have him on the cover, but he does not need to be front and center.
No.
At all.
Maybe top middle.
Yeah, sure. There they are, my boys. Let's go.
So we're getting the tag title match coming up next. They're not wasting any time.
No.
Or the number one contender match.
Number one contendership.
Hey, I know there's a team with belts, and my head went there.
Yeah, it's funny how the most over team in your company doesn't have your company's belts.
I think this is FTR going over, and they're them and Acclaimed at Full Gear.
See, I still think that you could have built to this a lot more. You could have gotten some legs out of this versus you spot book this and you do it real quick. You could have had a whole build up to a feud between FTR and Swerve and Glory and let the Acclaim just go. Not to mention what happened between FTR and the Ass Boys. Whatever happened to them? Whatever happened to them?
Yeah, they just showed the Ass Boys in the crowd.
They're still cosplaying as FTR, which that was another funny thing during the meet and greet last week. They came in during the meet and greet, all cosplayed up and everything. If you look on our YouTube, we got a short of it. Mike had his phone out, and it was pretty funny. They were up there with Morrissey.
Nice.
And there's still everybody's Acclaimed are coming out.
Yeah. Now going back to our previous topic, that's what I think the FTR story ties into all this of like when you got the wrong people that have the ears of the decision maker, and then all the decisions are coming down to one person, and he's kind of just running with whatever he feels makes him happiest, which is usually, the Bucks and those closest to him being happy. It just there's no good explanation for FTR to not be the number one team and pushed as the number one team. So you lose out on Punk, you lose out on guys like FTR, Wardlow. I don't know why Wardlow, but when you're not building it properly, and pushing the right people, you only hurt your company.
Well, that's because you have the Young Bucks in charge of your tag division. And of course, we ain't letting FTR, the team that we've been clowning on our YouTube channel for a year or more, we're not letting them go over us. No way in hell.
Bucks beat FTR for the belt at Full Gear.
Oh.
So did you guys get a chance to watch FTR versus Aussie Open at Royal Quest?
I saw highlights. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I haven't seen the full match of that.
Go out of your way to watch that match. That was so good. I literally bought a New Japan World subscription just to watch that match.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of Aussie Open, we'll be here on Saturday watching them versus the Briscoes, who have also faced FTR.
House of Glory. Glory Pro. Yeah, House of Glory. Yeah. Yes. Love that. I can't wait for that.
Oh, I'm excited. We like to call it.
Pause. But no, that absolutely, that match alone sold me on that show of okay, I want to watch that now.
Oh, Swerve's so good. That's what I love. I'm a huge, everybody in this match I absolutely love, and all for different reasons. Like Swerve is one of the most innovative offensive wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. Like just the stuff he does is okay. That's an interesting way to do that. And
he has such a personality about him. Like it's amazing that WWE couldn't figure out what to do with him, and then now they brought back Hit Row.
And dude, it's so funny. I see people all the time commenting on his stuff, like, "Dude, you need to go back with Hit Row." And his replies to everybody on that are just so funny. Like when they re-debuted, he was just like, "Nah."
He's the star of that group. Although I guess what I want to see if I could do a cross promotion, if we're going to get, the Thanos snap reference, and we'll get into the multiverse and all that. But if I could have Swerve versus Carmelo Hayes, that's a match I want to see.
Yes,
100%.
Which that's the funny thing is I think Hayes is coming up to the main roster to be the Swerve of Hit Row.
Oh, really? And then they add Trick into it too. That's why there's the TBD on there, the vacant, for the match on SmackDown.
Yep.
That's not a bad show. But
I think that's what's happening. Which I think Hayes just by himself would be phenomenal, but I feel like Hit Row is not going to get over unless they have that guy that's got that star power with them like they had with Swerve.
But see, I could still see them just being a reasonable tag team. Like they don't need to be the biggest act in the company.
No, I'm not saying they're bad. No, I'm not saying they're bad at all. I just think what they had with Hit Row with Swerve was just awesome. You had this singles guy that just had all this.
Oh, Keith Lee
everyone
down. Sorry, he just
no, I saw it before you did. I was waiting for you to get
now I'm behind everybody all the time. I'm behind KJ when it comes to WWE. Now I'm behind you when it comes to AEW. No, it's all good. I'm used to it at this point. Pause. But now we're in picture in picture right now.
Yeah. And I think this is going to be Swerve and Lee's breakup right here. And
you think they do it here?
I would, if they lose, I would say this, because what tag match do they have if they lose this? They're back of the line, right?
Well, what if they win and then we get the rematch? Like, I still think that there's potential for a feud.
Yeah.
But because we still, like I said, we still have the Ass Boys versus FTR. That could happen. I could still see the Acclaimed versus Swerve and Glory again. And maybe that's when they split up, or maybe FTR cost them that. Like, there's Not a ton of depth in the AEW tag division right now, I feel, at the moment. So they kind of need to keep these couple of teams towards the top. You can't really let someone fall back too far.
Yeah, Anthony, we were just talking about that. It was like that had to be a Bucks idea for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That was a giant wake session pause by Kenny and the Bucks there. That was, how can we make the fans miss us more? Well, no one's been, worried about you. And it's still funny to me that this would all happen shortly after Kenny just came back too. Like Kenny had only been back, a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then this all kicks off and okay, you can go just back on the sidelines now.
See, and I personally, I don't have that big of a problem with it. I love Kenny.
Well, I'm a big fan of Kenny. Don't get me wrong. I just can't
Bucks,
stand the Young Bucks.
I appreciate their in-ring work. I appreciate some of the little callbacks they do, but I feel like they do, try to get a little too, making their niche audience pop.
Well, I think that's a bit of an issue with AEW as a whole. Yeah, I see you, KJ. KJ's not a big fan of Kenny at all. Me and him have had it out about that. But I do think that's a problem even with AEW as a whole, of that they at times play too much to the smart mark crowd, like the Young Bucks do frequently. If you have the Meltzer driver, if you're a casual fan, you don't know who the hell that's referencing.
No idea.
You have no idea about any of that. But that's neither here nor there about Dave Meltzer pretty much just being an AEW reporter at this point. But I really like Kenny. I think he's fantastic. I could still see him going to WWE, or he's still solo act, probably one of the best, top 5, top 10 doing it right now. The Young Bucks, I can miss me with that.
I appreciate their in-ring work. I really do. They do some really cool stuff. I think, honestly, where this all started, kind of this, crazy domino effect with the tag team division, is you had, when Jeff Hardy came in, everybody was like, oh, Hardys are winning these belts from Jurassic Express, and they're going to have a short run, last run with them. And then come on, hot take the decks. Let's go. Yeah.
I've got Swerve and Cash in the ring right now. Oh,
hot tag.
Hot tag.
I love Dax Harwood's hot tag because he comes in and just starts giving those right. Oh, I love it.
That's the funny thing, is that it's old school. It's vintage pro wrestling. And because it hasn't been seen in so long, it's new. It's the trend. It's interesting when it's like, no, this is how it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah, I'm a huge mark for FTR. I
no, trust me, you're not alone.
Even when they were heels, I enjoyed them. So
yeah, it's you. If they're not in your top 3, your top 2, your top 1 when it comes to pro wrestling tag teams right now, I don't know what you're watching, or if you strongly disagree with either one of us. I'm more than happy to talk about it through the comments and everything, but you're wrong.
I was saying this. We did an interview with a tag team the other day, the Stepdads, which, by the way, go check that out. Those guys are awesome, like insightful yet hilarious interview. But they were kind of talking about like how tag team wrestling, like it's so the best tag matches are the ones where you can tell a subtle little story, and the people that like you can do little things in a match that if people miss it, it's not going to hinder the match, but if people catch it, it makes it that much more awesome. Like
that's fantastic.
How FTR, when they faced the Briscoes and they were like holding on to each other's hands so they wouldn't tap when they were in a double submission. They went and faced Aussie Open. Aussie Open did the same thing. They had them in double sharpshooters and they were like holding hand. Like to me, it's fluidity, throughout promotions. I'm like, that's so cool. They make me feel something in every match.
Oh, and that's great. Well, I do like, and now I know we've bashed AEW at times and everything. And by the way, big power bomb from Dax. Now Cash with a suplex, dragon suplex. 1, 2 count.
These guys are so good.
But I do like with AEW that's kind of become pretty much like it's almost a new territory system of you get that through different promotions. You'll get little stories here, little feuds there.
Mm-hmm.
FTR and the Briscoes have never had a match on AEW, to my knowledge. And you
Makes
still
me
know
very sad.
Yeah, well, Warner, figure your shit out.
I know.
Briscoes. But it's still everybody that knows that there's kind of that story between those two.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like I watched both of their matches on both Ring of Honor shows.
Right.
Oh God, Keith Lee. And they were both great in their own way. It wasn't the same match, but better. It was, this one was good for one reason, this one was good for another.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what really makes it good, is when you have that series of matches that you can tell different stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cash up top. Oh,
wow.
Toss into a powerbomb. 2 count. We're talking about Full Gear. This is a match to me. You save this for Full Gear. You build up to this match, and then you have this at Full Gear. Mm-hmm. Versus you give this away 1 week after them having promos backstage. That's, again, like we were talked about it before, of Tony needs to use the team that he's assembled around him as coaches, or Christ, you pay attention to enough, internet pundits and wrestling pundits. I know you do, Tony. At least listen to what the fuck we're saying, of you just do better.
Oh, wow, Dax. Oh,
wow, he caught that, man.
And the roll through. Nope, now we're doing it.
Wow.
Oh, the springboard. Oh, I love that power bomb.
Powerbomb. Slingshot powerbomb.
Oh,
on a swerve.
1. Oh, wow. Sold me a ticket on that one, 2. What's up, Hassan? Hassan?
2 count. Hassan. Yes, Hassan, Jack, Dro, Victor, everybody. What up? I know we've been terrible at getting the comments and everything, but there's so much goddamn action. AEW is finally using their talent that they seem to like to keep on the sidelines for no reason.
Funny thing, my aunt used to date a man named Hassan, but I never knew how his name was spelled because that was back when I was 6 years old. So I only ever heard his name, never saw it written down. So I apologize for that.
No, you're good. Trust me. We get some interesting names popping up here and there. But WWE, did you know that Ava was born? What? Why are you looking up this woman's birthday and everything? I get that she just debuted with Schism. Pause. And I honestly like it. I don't know how you feel about that big ring about, and I know we're watching AEW right now, but I guess we can talk about this real quick with her, the Rock's daughter, Ava Raine, debuting as the new member of Schism.
I mean, here's the thing. I'll have my thoughts on it, but that at the end of the day, I don't know what any one person's motivations are. Maybe she doesn't want to be associated with her dad because she doesn't want to feel like she's riding his coattails. I don't know. I hope that she is able to carve out her own thing. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Keith Lee up top.
Let's go.
That's going for a superplex with Cash up on the other corner. Why?
Wow.
Superplex.
Oh my gosh.
1, 2. Oh, wow. Again, this should be a pay-per-view match. This match is awesome.
This match is so good.
It's an FTR match. Of course it's going to be. And it's got Keith Lee and it's got Swerve. Absolutely. But
I hope, which I don't really watch a ton of NXT, so it's hard for me to super have an opinion. I don't really know that much about Schism. I know that the 2 guys with Gacy used to be JYV. And I don't know how that came about. I don't follow NXT. Once it became 2.0, I was like,
no, you're good. To me, it's one of those, if we didn't, Swerve with a super kick or no.
Big Rig. Let's go. Big Rig Keith Lee.
Keith Lee.
He pulls him out. Wait a second.
1, 2. 2. Swerve pulls Dax out. Wow.
Bro.
This match is phenomenal.
So good.
KJ, you picked a hell of a time to take a pause for the cause.
Right.
That or you just wanted to focus so much on that, which I don't blame you. But if we didn't know she was the Rock's daughter, I think it would be completely fine. I think that's the only thing that makes this kind of compelling, interesting. I know I compared it to Baby Dom, but roll up. Keith Lee.
Swerve with the low blow and the ass boys.
Oh, low blow.
Wow. They're going to take it. Wow.
Ass boys holding up cash. Pause.
Holding up cash. Swerve got the low blow, but Keith
1,
Lee didn't see it.
2, 3. Wow. Swerve and Our Glory pick up the 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I mean, the way they did it, I'm all right with it.
Yeah, because like I said, I think you still get that feud with the Ass Boys. Pause.
See,
wait.
Wait.
I was gonna stay back there, just chill out. But we're okay with it. I'm flabbergasted.
Tag, I bet you, by the way. We're gonna get FTR and the Acclaim versus Swerve and Glory and the Ass Boys. I bet you at some point.
But I don't want FTR to fuck with the Ass Boys. I don't care.
Want to either. That's the only problem I have with this. But they did. Swerve got the low blow, heel move. Keith Lee didn't see it. So that's going to come up.
Right.
Where Keith Lee's going to be like, dude, what the hell? You know what I mean? It wasn't a classic, we got distracted. It was a heel move plus a team in the crowd holding on to cash. Like it was a different way of FTR lost, but it was a super protection in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it was a fantastic way to do it. If you're,
I think that was good personally. I know some people may not like it, but I thought that was well done.
I like the match. I thought the match was strong. I thought the battle was good. A lot of false finishes, but man, poor FTR. I just don't think. I think at some point they just need to be in the right spot, and this is just another fucking hurdle that they're running fucking forehead first into, and instead of getting over it, it's I don't understand it. And I get it, they're super protected, and they tried it, but fuck, get to the point with these guys. We were just talking about how much they've been fucking buried from day one. Like, let's go. What are we waiting for?
And I don't know where they're going to go with this, and I'm pretty cool with that. Like, obviously, this is going to set up Swerve and Our Glory versus Acclaimed again. But like, is this Acclaimed retains and Swerve and Our Glory breakup, and then FTR can go after it? I feel like that's a little longer than I'd like, but then again, like, there's so many people in this company. Like, sometimes stuff does have to get put on the back burner a little bit.
Well, it's also with AEW of, can anyone tell me a long-term story that AEW has going currently? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Right.
That's the thing is, so I think if we do a longer story, you would say FTR getting to the belts. I know it's been way too goddamn long already with them, but that's the Young Bucks issue. All of that, we'll get there. I think if you still build something out, you need to start building long-term stories with AEW. Everything's been hot-shotted lately. That's why I keep comparing them to WCW, because you blink and you'll miss fucking 3 title changes. So I think if we build out a long-term story for even a whole division, that works a lot better than just hot shot, quick feud.
But I don't like. I think the story is lost on me here, because the story was that FTR was the biggest team in wrestling, maybe one of the biggest acts, period, single or otherwise, and they were on fire. And instead of going right to the top where they belonged, they were on a heater. All eyes were on them. Everybody was talking about them. They're getting pops. They're booing the Bucks out of the building. And here we are, 4 or 5 months later? That's their first tag match since June, and they lose. And I don't care how they lose. What the fuck are you doing? Like, it's like having the Hart Foundation go under to everybody for we'll get to it. We'll get to it. No, even when they weren't champions, they still look badass most of the time.
But can you now? I get what you're saying, and I fully agree with it. But at this point, we've kind of already gotten to a certain point, and we can't go back in time with this. So we know Tony's fucked up with this. It's now where do you go from here? And I still think you still need to build beyond that and still more aim long term of, because right now, do you want to do FTR versus the Acclaimed? Because I think you'd crush your most recent overact for your most steady overact.
Yeah, no, that's a valid argument, Nick. I mean, that's the pickle you're in now, is because because we hesitate. Now we're in this jam.
That's funny. I was just looking at this. AEW just created a clearance section on their shop of stuff that they're
is the
it's just old designs they're getting rid of.
But I have
here's MJF, baby.
Right now talking to Renee Paquette. This man's music making him a babyface, I feel like, at this point.
How do you feel about that? You're the diehard MJF fan.
If it's gonna happen naturally, that's one thing. But like, you could still have him just be that arrogant prick and everything. But if he gets cheered, he gets cheered. Screw it. But a little bit of that stuff that they were doing with Regal and him last week, I like the promo was great. The tail end was everything that happened after the Moxley Hangman match was So
are you catching this babyface shit? This is fucking crazy. He's great. He's fucking great.
Here's the thing.
He's doing his Mox impression.
This ain't happening. I guarantee you, this is him luring everybody in full gear. The devil shows himself.
What's he gonna do though? He's already done it with Punk, all of that, to where he's got them all, tied up with the dog collar. He beats them to a bloody pulp. Like, we've already been through this kind of story with him.
I don't know. There's no way he turns babyface, dude. Like, what other top heels do they really have? Like, actual good heels.
That's my issue. Is you're wasting. I still say that he should have, left All Out with the belt, 100%.
That's what I freaking booked. I booked All Out to a freaking T in that main event, except he didn't take it. I booked that Punk was going to win and MJF was going to come out and Heist of the Century 2.0, and it was going to be amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Taking it from Punk in Chicago, it would have been awesome.
100%, especially if you've got, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convince in the world that he didn't exist. And then my backup plan was he does it on Mox in Cincinnati, and instead
that was mine too.
All of that.
Which I'll say this, they had to run an audible in Cincy because Hangman actually got hurt. Like, I understand, where I thought they did the best with what they had. But the problem is, it's just the way that the wrestling community is. Like, it's cool to cheer for MJF now. You know what I mean? Like, it's the smart Mark community knows that he's doing, he's the best, whatever. So, we're gonna cheer him because he's such an a-hole. And it's like,
but I don't even know if it's the smart Mark audience with him. I think he's literally just leagues above everybody else in that company right now, honestly. When it comes to cutting a promo, when it comes to being on the mic, when it comes to having that presence and all of that. And I know what you said about them having to call an audible with the whole Hangman situation. And I know we were live for that. And I think I at least initially missed what had happened to cause the end of that match. But I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
But I still think that was overall the whole plan that they were going for. I do think that this is a little halfway, that they're fumbling up MJF, whichever way that you want to look at it, whether he should be a heel, whether he should be a baby face. no matter what, they are fumbling this up. And as I'm saying this, as he's cutting probably a hell of a promo because he's just intense as shit right now.
Actually, it's oratory exhibition. He doesn't like the P word.
Why?
I said it's oratory exhibition. He doesn't like the P word.
There we go.
Did you watch his interview with Not Sam?
I don't believe so.
Check that out, dude. That was so good.
I saw his interview with like Wrasslin and stuff like that.
That it was better than that one. Like the one with Wrasslin was awesome.
Oh, Bivens. Sorry.
No, I got him too. The one he did with Not Sam, like he's like called his kid like a piece of shit and like all kinds
But that's the thing is this man works the character. He lives this character. What other character, what other wrestling person out there has their parents saying, yeah, our kid's an asshole? 100%. It very much, he works as a heel, and if he still does this whole kind of arrogant prick gimmick and just he's MJF and they still start cheering him, fine, fucking run with it. Just we go with it, and he doesn't change who he is. But I feel like they've started to make him do babyface bullshit of like announcing his cash in, or he doesn't take the shot on Regal.
Right.
Oh, now he's giving it to Bivens. Oh, he's saying he's telling Bivens, you don't do anything towards Moxley. I want to beat him at 100%.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's building this up. He's gonna cheat. I agree, KJ. I also.
It's such a wrong way to go about this character. It's literally, if you had this on mute, you would still think this is MJF being the biggest prick. All of that. This is a regular MJF promo. All of that. He still looks the same way, still cuts it the same way, still the same cadence, but everything he's saying is super babyface.
And that's the problem is he's so good that people are going to cheer him no matter what he says. He could say everybody in here is an absolute sweat hog, and they'd all be like, you know,
right?
Like,
yeah. Well, that's AEW's audience is the Smart Mark audience, 100%. It's everybody that was a big fan of the Bucks. From being the Elite, was a fan of the Bullet Club, from New Japan and Ring of Honor and all of that, is now just AEW fans. I feel like all the WWE fans have migrated back to WWE now that Hunter's in charge.
Yeah, it's what are we getting here? Oh, we're getting a Kingdom video package.
Now, so what do you feel about their whole return, debut, all of that?
I think it's good for the tag division because I don't know why they're feuding with two singles champions, but I thought their whole thing coming out on Rampage was because of FTR, but apparently this is a video package for them and Wardjoe.
They're going to just get jobbed out on their debut. I still say it was the anti-pop when they came out because, again, like what we talked about with Willow, he doesn't build anybody up. He just expects, oh, well, you know who those guys are from Ring of Honor or from Impact, right? You guys watch wrestling.
But I mean, I think they're both phenomenal.
They're fantastic for, like you said, for the tag division.
Like, I think they, you can put them in there with just about anybody and they're going to have an absolute slapper of a match. And then I'm hoping, this is my hope, is that Tony Khan is like, oh, hey, you, Maria Kanellis, booked a really awesome women's division in ROH. Help me out. Like, please.
Yeah, fuck Kenny. Well, and since we were talking about like with FTR and the Acclaimed and everything earlier, I could see OGK versus the Acclaimed. I could see that being a feud. And say you've got Maria and Billy Gunn kind of having it out at ringside, what have you. You can't do anything because she's a woman, what have you. I could see that working against OGK over.
Can still kick him in the nuts or something.
Right. And we've got now Sammy and Tay coming out.
With his dumb Dragon Ball Z entrance.
Dragging. I had to have the internet. I had to find out through the internet that it was a Dragon Ball Z reference.
I didn't know it was until I was the same way. I was like, what is this? Like, it's a cartoon. And then they were like, oh, he's a Dragon Ball Z fan. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. Cool. Congratulations. Every male from like the 90s is a little bit. Tony Khan, where the hell is Brody King, Miro, Lance Archer, Lance Archer, Andrade El Idolo. Well, Andrade's trying to get himself fired. Archer's on Dark. Miro, don't know, but his wife's on VH1 if you want to watch that on This Real Life. Yeah. And Brody King, go ahead.
I was just about to finish what you were going to say because I was
literally just rambling off. So go ahead.
No, so I don't want to like super speculate, but like Malachi posted on his Instagram story the other day. It was a picture of them, Brody, Buddy, and him facing off with Miro. It was a picture from All Out. He just posted that. I think it was yesterday. I mean, who knows if he's just like, this is a cool picture or whatever, but I thought that was interesting that it was them versus him because I thought that was going to be a really cool story. God's favorite champion running through the evil cult faction. That was going to be so cool. So I'm hoping that still happens. And if that's why they haven't been on TV, like that's going to come later. Great. Like, I hope that we still do that because I love Miro. I love House of Black. So I hope that still happens. I know people were speculating like, oh, Malachi wants his release, all this stuff. And from everything that I've read from reliable sources, he literally was just like, no, I need time to myself. I got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, trust me, I've been there, I guess, similar to, by the way, we have Sammy versus Bryan Danielson going on. So if you haven't given a prediction, let us know. But no, I fully have been there. Like Malachi's even said of, I need just some time away. I need to kind of collect myself, all of that. But I know they did kind of initially hint, and we thought for the longest time it was going to be that Malachi versus Miro feud. So I'm 100% for that. And I think it's a good feud that they could have that doesn't need a title attached to it. It could still be a good feud, which is what AEW needs versus we have 10,000 titles and every feud revolves around them.
Yeah, I thought that was just going to be so cool. Like in my head, that's what it was. It was, I'm God's favorite champion, and then you had
in heaven,
essentially the devil incarnate and his demons in the House of Black. And hey, we're going to clash and it's going to be awesome.
Right. Buddy Matthews is trying to leave AEW. I think he might be just trying to take a little break, all of that. Because, I mean, you have seen him post a lot of stuff with Rhea, but obviously they're in a relationship. But no, I think that's part of why Brody's not on TV is they'd never planned for this to happen this quick and all of that. So they don't know what to do. And so they're like, well, let's try and focus on what we kind of already have going versus let's force some stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. There's, I know, certain people have their favorites or whatever, but I don't feel like the show's lacking because they're not on TV. And, you hear, I hear this, these arguments all the time, like, oh, he so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so needs to be on TV more. They have 3 hours of TV time every week. You're not going to get everybody you want on TV. I know that certain people want certain things. It's just not going to happen. Like I wish FTR was on my TV every freaking week, but they're not. And, I think that hopefully when they renew their TV deal, maybe Rampage turns into a 2-hour deal. Like we talked about, hopefully it maybe just becomes an ROH thing.
That'd be lovely.
That would be amazing. And, then you got Wednesdays are for AEW, Fridays are for ROH, whatever.
Absolutely. That 100% makes sense. As by the way, Sammy's just taking it to Danielson right now in the corner. But to me, especially though, when you have like those YouTube shows and everything, you have all this extra space that you can make, content and everything. You have all of this time. You're the only wrestling company this, television company has. Like, you need to really evaluate who you have on your roster. And if you want to go with what you have for time, you need to evaluate who you have on your roster, what you can work with, what you can't. Instead of just, we have 20,000 top indie guys and we don't know what to do with half of them. Like Claudio should not be on Dark. Eddie Kingston should not be on fucking Dark. Fucking going all the way back. Jeff Hardy should not be on goddamn Dark. If that's if you're going to make big deals out of these guys, they shouldn't be on what's supposed to be seen as your developmental YouTube show.
Right. No, and I know they try and the guys go down there and they want to wrestle and compete, but still, it's a bad look. And again, it's a lot of. We've said it a million times on this stream where it's, us three on the stream have just as much experience booking wrestling as Tony does till now, right? Like, he was just a dude that was a fan. So
I got action figures. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's got his live action figures and he's doing whatever he wants, whatever he thinks is kind of cool in the moment. So it just makes it hard to kind of get where you need to go. When you do have a whole lot of talent, you got to organize it and you got to be able to highlight. I mean, I thought Miro had something good and then he turned into the Veer Mahan of AEW. Like, where'd he go?
Yeah, and like we were talking about, I think I'm hoping that when he comes back, it's him versus House of Black, kind of the God's favorite champion against the, devil incarnate type thing. Because I thought that was going to be a really fun feud. I mean, you get Miro versus Brody King, Miro versus Buddy Matthews, Miro versus, give me all of that.
Yeah. And that's where I felt like it was going.
But so now what if you bring in CJ Perry, Lana, and have her feud with Julia Hart? Because she did obviously say a bunch of nice things about potentially going back to WWE, but she also managed to slide on the back end thereof, or AEW. So yeah, I think she'd want to go and work with the company her husband's in.
Big knee. Sorry, I'm slightly behind you, but they're outside.
You're good.
The apron. I don't know. Is anyone clamoring for a Julia Hart Lana showdown?
Well, yeah, that's true.
I will say this. From what I've seen,
I'm like, sign more people.
From what I've seen of the new Julia Hart, I've watched a couple of her dark matches. She's got a really cool character now, and she can go.
Okay.
I'm just glad she can walk after that fucking table spot.
Oh my god, yeah, hitting her.
That was
head.
scary.
Oh.
But I was never really a huge Lana fan. I think CJ Ferry's she's cool, with what she does. Obviously she's really popular. Cool. I never, as a wrestler, I never really cared that much. I thought there was a million other people I'd rather watch. So, I think her in a manager role with the personality she has would be good.
We get Miro coming out with a tank again.
I said that. I mean, if you really wanted to make waves, bring back that Russian gimmick and fuck everybody's day up.
Oh my god, if you did that right now, holy shit.
Right.
Wow.
We used to have a company called AEW.
Just have him really screw it all up and just rip the Ukraine flag in half as he rides out, something like that. I'm just kidding. That would be.
No, you're good.
I thought I went too far.
That was the last episode of Dynamite.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but I got Sammy Guevara in control all over Danielson.
Picture in picture for us, yeah.
Yeah, I got picture in picture there, Captain Canada.
Right?
Why?
What?
Why?
You know what?
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 I feel like you break out into mine.
I'm gonna get off stream and get slapped by my wife. Shut the fuck up.
I didn't know I could make that happen.
I have a theory. Who will save the Rock's daughter when this? What the fuck am I reading? Turns on Ava, and we hear the Dro. Woosah, my guy. You're excited that the Rock's daughter, the little Pebble, showed up in NXT, but Woosah, my guy. Woosah.
And listen, the Ava thing, she explained exactly why she's doing this, and she essentially said, "What's the last thing people are ever going to expect the Rock's daughter to do? People know I'm the Rock's daughter. I don't want to be called Little Rock, so I don't want to be called Pebble. Fuck y'all." And literally went a completely different way. And she even said it last night. Nobody, any preconceived notion you had about me, kiss it goodbye. And
well,
I get
that's
it.
what I was telling Nick when you were off street. I don't really watch a ton of NXT.
Yeah.
Like once they went to 2.0, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
But when because he was asking me, what do you think about her debut? And obviously I saw it and I was like, I mean, I don't really know what anybody's motivations are.
Yeah.
But I can see her like, I don't want to ride my dad's laurels type thing. So I'm going to go do my own thing. Cool. I mean, I think Joe Gacy is a really talented guy. I never really saw like how Grizzled Young Veterans became a part of his group.
Just happened.
I love Grizzled Young Veterans as they were. So like that was like, really? But I mean, they're great workers. So, I mean, if they're on my TV putting on good matches, cool. But I'm a fan, like as long as it doesn't become supernatural spooky, I'm fine with spooky factions. I love House of Black. I love, Bray, cult leader Bray. But when it went to the Fiend and supernatural crap, that's not for me.
Yeah, like winking dolls.
Yeah. No, oh my God. When that doll blinked at SummerSlam, I about lost my mind. I was like, really? Really?
I almost choked on my chicken wing.
Oh, buddy.
But no, and I mean the same thing with Gacy. Like, actually, the Gacy we got last night more than ever was a much better Gacy. It was more to kind of indie Gacy, right? Like before he got to NXT and Vince got his hands on him and Bruce got his hands on him, like a little darker, but a little more real. Like you kind of believed his message instead of some horrible verbiage that he was just spewing. And then,
that's what I hated about him.
Yeah.
When they had him in 2.0 and he was doing the, he was just, I called him buzzword Gacy. Like that's you know what I mean? Safe space and this, that, and the other. And I don't like when politics of any kind are brought into my pro wrestling. So like that was just like, just don't. Like I don't need this. And plus like him being like, this is a safe space and like hugging people. I'm like, this guy used to have death matches on the indies. Like, why is he doing this?
Right. So yeah, no, it was definitely it was nice to see him back closer to that and have a real edge to him. I'm like, okay, I see something in this guy. That whole, the hand triangle, like you said, the keyword, the pop word, like get out of here. So even with the rest of Schism, the one what's his face is growing back his facial hair and they don't look as ridiculous, like just out of left field. And there was really no explanation how he came about the Grizzled Young Vets. They just showed up in cloaks and then there they were. And we're like, okay, we just got to accept it. I think some people took a couple weeks to realize who it was.
Yeah. I'd barely recognize them until I saw somebody like, here's, Joe Gacy who used to be the Grizzled Young Veterans.
And I just assumed the Grizzled Young Vets were going to have the belt at some point.
Yeah, I love them in old like black and gold NXT. They were so awesome. Tap Sammy.
Oh, you got him I'm just getting the top rope now.
He's got him in the label lock right now. He's trying to get over. He got him. Sammy's on the ropes. Yeah, and I didn't realize, like Nick said right there, I didn't realize she had been in developmental. I don't follow that much.
Yeah, no, she was. And I remember when they announced that her name was going to be Ava Rain, and she took some heat online for it, and she kind of came out and said, like, I just want to be me. Like, I want to separate myself. It's bad enough she looks like her dad. I mean, so like you kind of see the resemblance. But she seemed comfortable with the microphone last night. But yeah, I mean, I think she was aware that she couldn't stumble into this.
And I don't blame her one bit because I mean, you think about it, like The Rock is not just another retired pro wrestler. Like this dude is one of the most popular stars on earth right now.
Oh yeah,
and it's like. Yeah, if you want to, make your own way, I think that's, pretty commendable. Ooh, Poison Rana. Let's go, Danielson.
They're pulling out a lot of shit. The Spanish fly from the top.
Yeah, Danielson just hit him with a reverse Poison Rana.
It's like the crowd is silent.
AEW crowds are weird, man. Everyone I've ever been to, like even in Cincinnati last week, like there were moments that the crowd was really quiet, and I'm like, why are we quiet right now? You know what I mean? I'm like, I was happy that the Tony Storm Sheeta match, everybody was pretty hot for, and I'm really glad they brought that out second. That was a really fun match to watch.
Yeah, well, I'm a huge Tony Storm fan. I like Sheeta a lot. I'm not thrilled about Riho. I'm really not.
Wow. Danielson wins.
Thank fuck.
Remsburg called it. Had him in like kind of a triangle choke and was elbowing him in the head, and Remsburg called it.
Good.
Wow. Like that. I like that. That's like he's beating him so bad that he's just like, nah.
Wow. No, I like it. I mean,
yeah,
this is the Danielson I want.
Yes. I want the Danielson, dude. When he came in and he was just like, everybody's happy to see him, but he's just like, I know I'm better than everybody here. I'm just going to kick the shit out of everybody. I loved it.
Yeah. And I felt like going into the BCC, you kind of lost it a bit because now you're kind of sharing that spotlight. But then he just started going under all the time. And that really struck me as odd because there's ways to keep Daniel active, and I get it. You put Garcia over, but I don't know if I exactly love that at this time.
Right.
So it's just interesting. I just want to see the guy dominate.
Responding to this one, they the problem is they did have kind of a story. So they had a video package that they put on social media. Yeah. Jon Moxley was in Jacksonville for Rampage and said, like, I only came here because I wanted to go see Tony in his office and tell him I need an opponent with zero fear and all this stuff. And then Penta comes out and is like, I have, Zero Merdo. So they have kind of a story. But it was basically Jon Moxley just being a fighting champion. And
Now, do you like the Moxley fighting champion kind of angle in the sense of we're seeing the champion every single week now? And it's spot booking now. You're appreciating it. I know some people have said you kind of devalue that championship, but I think, I've been critical of Moxley in the past. I commend him for what he's done since the brawl at All Out.
This is interesting. Sorry, we got Ray Phoenix, Cassidy, and Luchasaurus on TV, and Cassidy's holding up his title.
Really?
Are we about to get a triple threat with Luchasaurus, Orange Cassidy, and Ray Phoenix for the All-Atlantic title? Riho and Jamie Hayter, here we go.
Just roll the dice. And, how did we get to these three?
Well, it started out, they were interviewing Phoenix, and then Christian Cage and Luchasaurus walk up, and then Cassidy walks up and just like, hey.
You talking about this?
I'll say this. I loved that video package they made for the Rampage one, where he just pops up and he's like, hey, I won this in Canada. You guys want a beer?
People freaked out when he put the title in a book bag. Upset.
I love it.
I'm going to take a moment right now as I'm back in a commercial. I'm assuming you're already there.
I am. Yeah, I'm in a commercial.
I will remind everyone who's tuning in right now, we are the Wrasslin for Life Network. This is our special guest, Big Rig, from the Dad World Order podcast. Go check them out. Go give them some love. Die-hard wrestling fans, dads, two of the greatest types of people you can have on this planet. So it's always an honor and a pleasure when you pop up. So thank you for being here again, sir.
Absolutely.
And I will remind
appreciate you guys having me, man.
Oh, sorry, dude. I stomped on you.
No, you're good. I was just saying I appreciate you having me. It's awesome.
Always.
Enjoy
it. But just going to remind the folks, we are back tomorrow. Let's Rumble podcast. Plus, we'll have a special interview We do have a buddy coming on, so we're looking forward to that. Another gentleman out of Ireland, but now he's in the U.S. right now, Jack Moody. We're looking forward to that interview. It's going to be a good time. And then the boys will be here, as well as Miss Ashley. And we're going to argue about some of this stuff that has been coming up tonight and throughout the week. Lots to talk about, lots to get into. Friday, we have our doubleheader. This weekend, we're going to do House of Glory, and stay tuned. We are working on a lot more. We got some original content coming up. We got more plans. And November is stacked, Mr. Big Rig. Lots of wrestling in November.
We God, we got a lot of stuff coming up. We'll have Full Gear. I'm pretty sure does Impact have a pay-per-view that same weekend?
Yes, they have that
Overkill or Overdrive or something.
Is it Overdrive? I keep forgetting.
It's the one in Louisville. I know that.
Yeah.
Because I saw it come up and I was like, oh, I might be able to go to that. And then I was like, oh no, Full Gear's that same day. Like, I'm not going to that.
Right. We do have Crown Jewel coming up. We have Survivor Series coming up, even bleeding into December with, we got 2 shows on the same day, ROH and NXT. So that'll be an interesting day. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm glad that those aren't overlapping too much, so we can actually kind of enjoy it throughout the day type thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think it should be good.
I think that's awesome. Which I've been really happy with the past 2 ROH pay-per-views under the TK era, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to another one.
Mm-hmm.
We will actually all 3 of the DWO dads will be at PW Revolver on November 12th. If you guys decide to review that, we will be at that show. That's actually a pretty stacked card right now.
We covered Revolver's last one, I think, and I know coming up one of their shows. I think it's their next one or the one after. But yeah, I believe we are covering it as part of our
this one coming up. I'm pretty sure they're having a triple threat with like Bandito, Trey Miguel,
yes,
and somebody else. Like, it's going to be awesome. Swerve versus Myron Reed. Yeah, they got a pretty stacked show there, so we're excited for that. Now we got Hayter coming to the ring.
Yes,
with the Doctor and Rebel or Reba, whatever her name is.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
And here comes Riho. I know a lot of people like shit on Riho, but I appreciate how innovative she is with her offense because of her size. I think, it's not just her like throwing fists and everybody like, oh, she can't hit me. Like, she knows she's small, so like she has to do things differently. So like, I appreciate that. Do I want to see her on my TV every week? Not really.
No.
Rather, if I'm gonna pick a Joshi wrestler to be on my TV every week, it's gonna be Hikaru Shida, because I think she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that was the other funny thing when she came out last week on Tuesday when we were there, dude. Cincinnati crowd went nuts for her.
Yeah.
And I was a little, like, I knew who she was. I was like, yeah. Riho. But I was like, I was surprised everybody knew who she was.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, I guess that hardcore audience for the most part. And then the other 20% just scream quick.
Pretty much. Ooh, Sting Micro Brawler. That thing looks dope. Red face paint Sting Micro Brawler up for pre-order.
Oh, right. Nice.
Pretty cool.
I stand by my statement. I'm just going to get just a couple of these.
Oh, go ahead.
It's funny. Earlier, someone called you Nick's twin, and I thought that was funny. Now you're my devil. It's just the glasses and
is it the glasses, beard, facial? Yeah.
Right. We are family.
That's right, baby. I'll tell you what. I did have a really cool, proud dad moment the other night. We got home. Me and my daughter. We got home from her. She had cheerleading practice, and we got home. And she's like, "Hey, is wrestling on tonight?" And it was a Thursday. And I was like, "No, but you didn't get to watch Dynamite last night because you were in bed early." I was like, "Do you want to watch that?" She was like, "Yeah." So we sat there and watched Dynamite together. Like, it was awesome, man. Like, usually I have to ask her, like, "Hey, do you want to watch?" Because I don't ever force her to watch it. Like, the thing that she likes the most is going to indie shows.
Oh, wow,
going to local indie shows, sit in front row.
I've seen some of the pictures, and
so that's cool. But like, she actually like, no, I want to watch this stuff. Like the other night, she wanted to watch Halloween Havoc because I showed her a couple of the clips, and she saw, I think it was like the Cora Jade Roxanne Perez match, and she was like, yeah, I want to watch that. So it was just it was really cool having your 6, almost 7-year-old daughter that, you know, actively wants to watch this stuff with you.
That's amazing. Big dad win.
Absolutely.
I haven't talked my daughter into it yet. Maybe one day.
Yeah, all the action figures and ring that you see back here, I actually don't like. This right here is all my collectible stuff. Okay. All that's all her. She wants all the action figures, man.
Right.
Big Nick.
Oh, you know that Big Nick. Read this when he comes back. But I don't want to get into the copyright infringement of using all those what's on this. But I will take Victor's advice. And while this match is going on, by the way, if you haven't made a prediction yet, we have Riho and Hayter in the ring right now. Let us know. Who do you got for the win? I keep saying that Nick's girl is going to lose to Riho tonight.
There's no way.
I can see him in the studio, and he's shaking his head.
I'm shaking my head. There's
Riho. Ain't no goddamn way in hell.
I put a 10 on it.
Fine, I'll take your money. Shut up. I'll take your money.
What's the exchange rate now?
Oh, yeah, it'd be like $7.65. No, it's like when they said, like when you look at we pay like $59.99 for a pay-per-view.
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
that's rough, dude.
It was like 70 something at one point. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, well, what was it? Was it Mania that was $69.99, like Canadian?
That's wild.
Still ridiculous,
insane.
Yeah, do you guys not get Peacock up there?
No, we are Peacockless up here.
You still get the network up there, right?
Well, we get the network, but the way it works here is you got to buy the network through the provider. So, like, it's one of their fucking bullshit things where you got to like buy 3 channels to get the one channel you want. So it's everything's pricey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I think Peacock's production value sucks. There's been plenty of times we've been watching and it, you know, feed cuts out or whatever. But I am happy with the fact that I literally had Peacock anyway as a streaming service, and then it was like, oh, WWE's on. I'm like, cool, you know.
Yeah, well, I think that was kind of the big selling point initially for them, was having WWE on it. Because I was one of those people that I had the network. I didn't have, you know, I got the network because that's where, you know, you got all the premium live events instead of the pay-per-views.
Which I understand them not wanting to call them pay-per-views anymore because they're not.
Yeah, you don't buy pay-per-view anymore.
But premium live event just sounds so dumb.
Right?
It's very much sounds like a Vince thing of like how you can't say wrestler on a pro wrestling show, or you can't say belt.
Mm-hmm. Well, I always love, I don't know if you guys watch Wrestle Talk at all. It's a British YouTube channel. Dude, I love Ollie Davis. Every time he says premium live event, he does like this big premium live event. It's so funny. It cracks me up.
Yeah, I just liked Pat McAfee, who would be, who works for WWE, would even be talking about the cock pause when he was talking about Peacock. To where he very much would like kind of shit on how awkward it is at times to say the name.
Right.
Live on the cock.
What?
This match is running in cement quite a bit.
Well, just when you have a grown woman beating up a child, right? You don't want to show it too much on television.
Wait till she loses, bro.
Fuck off. You thought I was on a pause before. I'll be gone. This motherfucker.
Roll up.
No, you ain't. No, Jamie Hayter.
I smell a roll up coming.
What? No.
Casual, insane clown posse hatchet man sign in the crowd.
Oh, of course. Again, it's figures that AEW has like the smart mark, that type of crowd.
Right? My buddy's got that tattooed on his shoulder.
Talk about homies.
Right.
Sorry, we're gonna get.
And you should be a homie. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button.
That's right. Like and subscribe.
Well, I was going to say,
I feel like that'll be a pretty good Rampage. Hopefully, it just came up. They're doing one at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City.
Yes.
It should be a pretty good one, I think.
Oh, and there's one in Dynamite said Boston. Interesting.
A stomp that didn't look like it hurt at all.
Nope.
Yeah, by a cloud.
And a knee that looked like it did nothing.
I hate to pick on her, but Riho just,
But no, it's one of those. It's again, I know you guys were talking about this a little bit before I was on a pause for the cause, but it's Kenny Omega being involved in the women's division, and he brings over a lot of the Joshi wrestlers. There's been a few that I've liked, like obviously, but when you have like Stardom and stuff like that works because they're all, no offense, that size and everything like that. But it's that style of wrestling is what you're used to. When you're seeing Rhea Ripley body slam Luke Gallows on Monday Night Raw, and then you're seeing Nick on AEW, it's like, well, wait, hold the fuck on. Wait, we're talking about here.
Well, and that's what.
What?
So I was saying, like, I appreciate that Riho at least attempts to make her offense more innovative because she is that small. Like, she's not just like punching people and like, oh, this is doing something. Like, she has to go the extra mile to, get her offense over, or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, like, Jamie Hayter should literally hit one backbreaker on her and she should be dead. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
just that Mortal Kombat, like the X-ray, the slow motion of like the spine breaking.
Yeah.
And I was telling KJ, there's so many other Joshi wrestlers I'd rather have on my screen.
Oh, absolutely. But even when she does a move, it doesn't look like it has impact.
Because, and like I said, I don't want to be that type of person that talks about this, but there's literally nothing behind her. It's one of those of, you even see it on, no offense, any promotions or anything like that, of like, okay, we're going to have our 195-pound female challenge our 300-pound super heavyweight world champion and shit like that, like for the world title. Like, no, that's fucking wrong. Don't do that. That's bad. I understand that it's suspension of disbelief, but I have also heard that Warner and Discovery, because of like how Dynamite's had to move because of the baseball playoffs, so on and so forth, that they want to make this looked at more as a sport. And if you're going to do that, then weight classes are a fucking thing.
Yeah, and you might not have a solid weight class, but I mean, at least, within reason.
Hey, that looked good, though. Yeah. Riho just had a code red on Jamie Hayter. That looked really awesome.
Oh, I just got there.
That looked awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That was smooth.
Something like that. Stick to the high fly stuff.
Baker got the boot.
Stick and move. That should be her moveset.
Yeah.
The world title match is coming up next, boys. So we got about 30 minutes left.
Riho should be broken in half.
Oh. Backbreaker.
Ooh, Snapdragon.
But she didn't. That just looked sloppy jalopy a little bit there. It literally looks like Big Sister beating up Little Sister. No offense.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, Snapdragon looked good.
Victor saying Nick Riho is like $105. She about 350.
She?
Goddamn,
let me get about 350.
Damn
it, monster, get off my lawn.
I'll tell you what. Riho, she hit that move, and then she was goddamn Loch Ness Monster. Asked me for
It was about that time I realized that Girl Scout, about 8 stories was a crustacean from the Pentazoic era.
Yes.
It's one of the greatest South Park bits ever. Hayter with the win.
Ripcord clothesline. 1.
I love that
2,
as her finisher, dude.
3.
I love it.
But she looks like you could drop her. You could drop her and Britt in the middle of WWE right now. And I know it's a little sink or swim there. But they would very much, rise to the top of that division, I feel.
So my only problem with, and I guess it's really not even a problem with Britt. It's more like, I feel like there's so many women that like Britt is a little more innovative than most of them, but there's so many women like, oh, you use the curb stomp, and that like Chelsea Green does it all the time. It's just like you're the same wrestler.
When no one does it on WWE except for Seth.
Well, I'm talking not in WWE.
Oh, I get what you're saying fully.
It's just like you guys are the same freaking wrestler, and they're both like, oh, I'm, you don't even go here. Like they're like that club, and it's just like,
Regina George, the mean girl.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what they look like to me, and it's just it's lame.
But I could still see it working. Why? As we've got Tony,
my boy.
Is it interesting though that Tony's the interim champion, not the world champion, the interim? Eddie,
my boy.
Oh, I love me some Eddie Kingston.
I do
100%.
I'm such
that
a
man
fan
should have gotten a Medal of Honor instead of a suspension for pie facing Sammy Guevara.
They got to redeem Eddie Kingston. There's got to be a redemption story.
Oh, look, I'm having a blast. See? See? No, he was already built, their Bryan Danielson, their Daniel Bryan, their Yes Movement, all of that. It was already built for him to be the underdog hero that wins the world title, and they shot the bed fully on that.
Horribly. Absolutely horribly. And these are the ones that confuse me. Like I said, Eddie's on an upward trajectory, and you kind of forget what to do with them. You had Wardlow on an upward. Like I just feel like it's Tony doesn't know how to bring it home. He doesn't know how to round third and get to home base. Like,
sorry, I had to mute myself for that one. I got to listen to my boy.
But yeah, no, he got dragged down by the leech that is known as Chris Jericho.
See what? That doesn't make any sense.
What?
Just wait till you see the main event.
This is Matt Taven for the TNT title. What?
Why?
Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal next week on Dynamite. What?
Oh.
Like, here's my problem with that. Why? Matt Taven debuted 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Why is nobody else like, hey, Wardlow, I'd like a TNT title shot, please?
Right.
Like people that have been in AEW. I'm not, obviously they signed with him now, and you want to get them on TV. But if they're a tag team, put them in a tag team match with somebody.
Yes.
That isn't a singles champion.
Yes. Genius.
So smart, it's stupid.
Well, no, it still baffles me though that we can be on here, sipping, smoking, shit talking, and still be able to book a show better than Tony Khan in all of his greatness, in all of his Booker of the Year, so on and so forth.
It makes me crazy. It makes me fucking crazy because forever, like I keep saying, he had just as much experience as anyone else on this stream right now. Anyone in the chat, anybody watching, be like, oh, he's such a genius. He had just as much on his resume that made him qualified for the job he's currently doing than us. Period.
Oh, 100%. And it's one of those, and I get he's got the same qualifications as any of us do. He's very much played, WWE games, all of that. He's had plenty of action figures like Big Rig was talking about with his daughter having there in the back there. But he just cannot see the forest before the trees he's got caught up in the mark for the business of
Daddy-ass birthday bash. Let's go.
Wow.
No way that's getting ruined.
Right, of course.
Yep, that Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus, Rey Fenix, All Atlantic Championship.
Is it a triple threat?
Triple threat.
You called it. That's funny as shit.
Let's go, Canosaurus.
Jericho versus a former ROH champion.
Soraya and Britt Baker sit down with Renee Paquette. And, Chris Jericho versus a former Ring of Honor champion.
Shocker.
Wonder who that might be.
Who's left? We got a whole list.
Jerry Lynn.
That's who I thought he was.
Jerry Lynn lost his calling as the leader of a death metal band.
But didn't they get in a little pushing match like a week ago or whatever?
Dude, he pile drived him onto
That's
the
right.
title.
That's right. Okay, that
I
happens.
still wanted I would be here for a Jerry Lynn match in 2022.
Oh, I would
I
too.
don't know,
but
man.
you just know it's not going to happen.
I don't care. He's so underrated. 100% is Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn.
I'm telling you right now, that former ROH champ is going to be Shane McMahon. Here comes the money.
I'm still saying that would be the biggest thing if Tony could ever. Everyone's like, what does Tony do now? Go get Shane. Fuck it.
The week after CM Punk signs with WWE, Vince McMahon signs with AEW.
Pulls the mask. It was me.
Right. Just, the name on the contract does say Khan.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah, Nick Khan shows up. That'd be amazing.
Right. He was the mole all along.
Right?
That's like, if you ever watch our show, that's anytime anybody's like, who do you think it's going to be? I always say Shane McMahon, just as
right.
Well, it's like this one with Vince.
Yeah,
the whole White Rabbit. You're like, it's going to be Vince.
Oh, that's what I said. He's gonna pull the mask off and be like, it was me.
Right? Never for a second did I think it, but man, am I convinced that it would absolutely be the most people's heads would melt.
People would have happened? A meltdown.
Yeah.
Meltdown.
Just come out. I'm back. Whoa.
Well, and especially with how good wrestling has been since he's been gone, like on all fronts. Like WWE is watchable, and it's now going to make AEW and WWE like, hey, we got to get better every week. I'm all for it. I don't want anybody to buy anybody out. Just make it go on forever, please.
Yes.
I would like good wrestling on my television all week long.
Right. Sorry, KJ, if I'm cutting either one of you off.
No. Go ahead.
My mouth didn't even move, bro.
It's very much one of those things for everybody that says, oh, you guys are just WWE marks. Oh, you guys, you're big, stands for WWE. No, it's literally now it's finally good again. We've been on here on 3-hour streams and we're like, is it over yet? Can we go home? And for people that think that we're super harsh on AEW, it's no, we just want, if you want to challenge, the big guy, then you need to actually step up your game. And I just want, if you're going to be the second biggest promotion, regardless if it's a competition or not, I still want to see you at least put on good content and put out good wrestling versus just the garbage that you've been putting out.
And here's what I'm going to say is I'm harsh on AEW, which I'm sure you guys are, because how good it can be.
Yeah,
right. You've seen them put on great shows week after week. So like when it comes down to this level, you're like, this isn't you.
Dynamite ran away with our ranking show for months and everything. And
more than that,
we've seen it literally just decline. I said it for the longest time is you never saw anything change with the AEW. It's the landscape around
gear. It. Let's go. I'm sorry. His gear looks sick.
No, I mean,
no, go ahead, KJ.
Now you got me just.
He's got like samurai gear. Oh, it looks so cool. Anyway, sorry. I'm a huge nerd for cool ring gear.
Jamie won.
Especially Pentas.
Why?
Yeah. Now, folks, we are heading into the main event. If you are new here, we take a prediction on every match. Who do you got taking the win? Who do you got taking the belt? We got Penta. You'll always be Pentagon Jr. in my head for some reason, but
no.
El Zero Mero, and our buddy Jon Moxley coming out of the crowd. I mean, tough one. I mean, on paper, I think it's an easy one to call, but if you're a big Penta fan, it's a hard one to call.
See, and I love Penta. I really do, but I'm just excited for the match. Like, I'm fairly certain Mox is going to win, but I think these two this is going to be awesome.
Big Rick, quick question. You said you're a big fan of Penta.
Yes.
When he was doing he was doing a lot of he would, give us the Spanish, and then, Alex would drop in with the Penta says, and when he was doing it as a heel against Cody, I thought it was great. But even as a babyface, it kind of worked. But I wish that we would have got more of that. Just a nice one of them, like fighting Cody and guys in that kind of level. But with Alex getting them all the heat, I think it was amazing. Yeah,
and it's obviously, he doesn't speak English very well, so I think having Alex there is genius. And Abrahantes, what a hype man. Like, that dude is
Amazing.
at ringside just doing everything. I love it.
What about you, Nick?
No, I'm all here for it. I'm just thinking of, Alberto. Oh, damn. It gives me that kind of vibe a little bit. Maybe. Well, it works, again, though. With this match, it's very clearly that Moxley's going to win this match, but I do think that this is 100% going to be an absolute banger of a match. Sorry to steal Sheamus's gimmick, but this, especially coming off of what Penta did in AAA.
Oh my God, yeah. I didn't watch the whole match, but I watched clips of it, and that picture of him holding up the mask with
I was gonna say, set a stopwatch to who bleeds first, because Moxley's got a paper mache forehead, and it's not like Penta isn't afraid to have his mask torn off or bleed or whatever. We still got a good 20 minutes, I'd say, because there'll probably be a little bit of run over. So I think this is going to get, a little bit hairy here.
Right. I'm also marking out a little bit because, I got to, take a picture with him and shake his hand last week. So that was awesome.
Oh, no. Especially since you're a Cincinnati guy. So that's got to be super cool, especially because you were talking with your daughter, even got to meet her and everything like that. I saw those pictures.
That was awesome. Especially the promos leading up to it. They did him driving around Cincinnati and him talking about I'm going to walk down Vine Street and all that. I know where all that stuff is. I grew up here my whole life. So it's just cool having a champion from here. And him and Renee live 25 minutes away from me. They live on the east side of Cincinnati. It's cool. They are seen walking out in Cincinnati all the time. It's really cool.
So how do you, I guess, especially since that's your homegrown territory, of how do you feel of seeing a guy that was in WWE as Dean Ambrose and all of that, and now seeing this final evolution, I guess, of Jon Moxley, of now he's clean, sober, all of that. This is the Moxley he always kind of wanted to present. This is him having full capacity to do whatever he wants. How does that feel?
I love it. I was just saying, we from Cincinnati, we never really had anybody. I mean, we had people to root for, but nobody that was, main event level.
Who they say gonna be them?
Nobody. And we got at last year's Cincinnati Dynamite, we had the MJF Brian Pillman, face off. That was awesome.
Right.
Which he was on the Dark Elevation before at this year's.
Is it weird that they're not doing a ton with him? As we've
I think that's coming, because he came out during that match. He didn't have the Letterman jacket on. He had the leather jacket, had new gear. I could very much see him doing some kind of heel turn on Griff Garrison and then breaking up. And I know when I believe it was Smart Mark took their varsity trademark or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Arn, it was a little thing, but Arn Anderson was backstage watching and all, upset. So I could very much see him and Brock Anderson getting together and doing a 4 horsemen type thing.
Fair enough.
Something like that. I think he's still young enough that him not being on TV all the time isn't the worst thing in the world. But I think he's a hell of a talent, and I think that they need to definitely promote him more. If he's not going to be in the tag division, I think he could be a really good heel.
Do HBK to Marty Jannetty with Griff,
something like that. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. And even in that match, there was a little, you could tell Griff was kind of muffed at the end of they won, but at the beginning, Pillman was up on the ropes, cheering and everything. And then Griff got his ass handed to him because Pillman was doing that. And, so I could see a little tension going on there. So I think that breakup's coming pretty soon.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, they've already lost Julia Hart, all of that. Right. And they've kind of been stuck in that kind of one spot on the card.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I don't want him to be, his dad 2.0. I don't want him to just come out there and be loose cannon, but I think that he has, I think he's got a lot of personality to him. He's a great worker. I mean, he's working like all kinds of like local indie shows around here and stuff. And it's awesome to, he doesn't really have to, but he does. And people love seeing him. And like, he is miles above, whoever he's facing. Like, I watched him at I think it's called like Battle on the Border, local indie to here. And he faced, who was that? Congo Kong. Guy used to be an Impact.
Got you. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. They were in the main event. And I mean, Kong's just one of those big fat monster heels. And, Pillman pretty much carried the match. But,
fair enough.
It's something that I think he's going to be a huge star. Just give him a year or two. I think that if with the right push that he can do some really cool stuff.
Well, now it almost feels like if he had something like an NXT, like what WWE has, that might work a bit better and everything. I feel if they had a little bit of that kind of developmental territory or promotion that they could run.
And that's, it's almost what like Dark is, what they shoot in Orlando. I wish they could make it, a little more NXT-ish, in production value. Instead of building stories for Dynamite on Dark, why don't you just have your own storylines on Dark to make it to where people actually want to tune in and not just, I'm going to see a bunch of squash matches, because that's what it feels like half the time.
Or see Ember Moon potentially, take liberty, allegedly.
With Jody Thread.
So where that might have been clearly unsafe and unprofessional.
There's been some debate on it.
From everything that I'm hearing, it sounds like neither of them have any actual heat with each other. So
that doesn't mean she wasn't unsafe.
I'm not saying that.
No, I get that 100%. I get that there wasn't any, and there's no longer, the CM Punk grabbing at a muffin talking shit backstage, but it's still that wasn't. You shouldn't be doing that. That's
I almost wonder if that was
training
because she was forced to work as a heel when I don't think that was how the match was supposed to go.
Well, she's a talent that shouldn't be on Dark to begin with. If you're having her built up into this feud for the world title and with the TBS title and all of that, she shouldn't be working matches on Dark.
And that's like
go ahead.
Before Cincinnati on Tuesday, like the main event of Dark Elevation was Claudio.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm glad I get to see him wrestle, but why is he wrestling on Dark Elevation?
Right. No, it's true.
And it was against freaking QT Marshall. Like, can we not? I mean, I know QT's like, really good at getting people over, whatever. I'm not saying anything bad about the guy, but as a person, I don't give a shit about, or as a character, I don't give a shit about QT Marshall. I really don't.
But that would work great on a NXT developmental. If he works great on Dark Elevation, Dark, all of that. He'd be Chase U, like we talked about on NXT when we walked in that. If he did something like that, like we've obviously seen that with the Nightmare Factory. But when you have big talent or guys that were just in title pictures, guys that were just title holders and stuff like that coming down,
right?
It should be very much a tier system, right? Like it really should. Like, and if you have elevation, all right, so you have a crop on Dark that, as soon as they get to the top tier of Dark, they graduate to elevation, and we see them on elevation kind of weekly, and then we see them kind of trickle in. Like it really should be, your AAA, AA, single A ball.
Right.
And elevation, I think, needs to be their ROH show because it's in front of live crowds. They're already there. Make it an hour of ROH. Boom, done.
Gee, who would have thought if you actually ran a Ring of Honor show with having their whole video library, all of their talent, well, what you had left of their talent,
right?
Most of it, which you'd already signed to your company, all of their belts. If you did a Ring of Honor show and just made it still even different from your own product, gee, who would have thought?
Right. Paul Levesque's in the house, by the way. Trick or stream. We choose
Hi,
stream.
Papa Paul.
Hey, Trips. And that's like, I I've said this to KJ before. Ian Riccaboni is probably my favorite play-by-play announcer anywhere. I love that man. Like when on Tuesday, I'm going to keep bringing this up because we were there. On Tuesday, when Jericho won and when he was like, I'm going to destroy every champion ring announcer and commentator, and I knew Riccaboni was up there, I was like, I shouted it. I was like, don't you dare. Like, that's my guy. Don't you dare. And he got away, and I was like, oh, thank the Lord.
Right.
You were William Regal, but you never put your hands on Mr. Schiavone.
That's right. Oh my God. Being there for that live too, by the way. Oh, that was so good. I mean, they had us hanging on every word, dude.
I still think Riccaboni, Morrow, and Nigel as the commentary trio would be.
Wow, you're really shooting the moon, eh?
Hey, but fuck it. You've got Tony Schiavone that just is there for it's Sting. JR that is crotchety old JR. Taz that just kind of bounces around to whatever song's playing, and Excalibur that's there just to try and remind people that he used to be a wrestler.
I told
Excalibur.
No.
I told KJ this. I was like, Excalibur is like a wrestling move nerd. Like that is like his whole thing is, you know, Oh God, that was
Ring of Honor will have its own show in 2023. Yeah, that's the rumor.
Yeah,
What's up, Jay?
I would think so.
What up, Jay? What up, Jason? Jackson
on the steps.
The Mox match is still happening, Jackson.
Yep. Happening as we speak.
Facts.
I personally would love. Riccaboni and Taz. Like that's my give me that on Dynamite.
Yeah, I'm down.
I don't want to like. I love Excalibur. I really do.
Really?
Yeah, I enjoy him. But if I had to pick between one of the two, I'm picking Riccaboni because I feel like Riccaboni is so good. Yeah. He's better at making me feel something, and he's better at making everything in the match feel like it matters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, he's wicked. Great storytelling.
But Excalibur pops me just because he's such a wrestling move nerd and how loudly, like we say it on our show all the time, like Tope Suicida, like he yells it as loud as he possibly can.
I think we've called out stuff like Tope Con Briscoe and stuff like
that. We're just making it up now.
Yeah.
Right. It's one of those, though, of, again, to me, it's do you move away? Well, you either move towards you're treating this like a serious sport, which I feel like the three that I named would, or you need to move it away from just appealing to the smart mark audience.
Yeah. Anybody knows what's going on with Ricky Starks? Is he getting the Miro treatment? No, we haven't seen him.
Two count.
Wow. God, that pile driver.
Right?
Double underhook, baby.
Those chiropractor videos are getting out of control right now. If you know,
you ain't kidding, man.
Pile drivers like that and shit.
I think if you want to bring in a more casual audience, Riccaboni's your play-by-play. Excalibur's the smart mark commentator because everybody loves him calling out all these moves and you know this, that, and the other, and they know he's PWG and all that stuff. Riccaboni, if you're a random Joe walking off the street, there we go.
Death Rider, 1, 2.
Any blood yet? No, Victor. No blood yet.
No blood.
Yeah, everyone wants to know.
No blood. Period. Wow.
We lost a lot of money on that one.
That and it's surprisingly.
We still got 5 minutes left in the show.
Right.
Oh, W. Morrissey.
Big paradigm shift though.
Firm's out here. The Fast Boys, Ethan Page, W. Morrissey, and
after MJF was telling Bivens, don't have anyone touch him, all of that. So we're gonna see that riff. So we're getting babyface MJF.
Yeah, we are, and it's fucking awful. It's terrible.
It's just
there's Bivens.
If you got there, you could still get there. You just could have done this way fucking differently and made it.
I love Stokely Hathaway so much. Them getting, I think he was one of the top gets for them this year for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I still would have loved to see, and I guess
what happened to Lee Moriarty
down here of if you had a tag team between him and Omos as the Twin Towers.
Right. What happened to Lee Moriarty? He doesn't even fit
he
in
went
the firm.
Even more indie than he was already.
So they got the Blackpool Combat Club locker room chained off so they can't get out.
Who did they pay off?
Here's what I'm hoping happens right now. MJF comes out and they think he's going to save him, and then MJF beats the living tar out of Moxley. That's what needs to happen right now.
MJF cashes in, and we end with MJF winning.
Right.
That too.
Left field.
That too.
Hopefully, please redeem something here. Look. This is Halloween ends.
Moxley's fighting them all off.
No, locker room.
No, he's Blackpool Combat Club.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now is Moxley gonna beat up like fucking 5 people?
Here comes MJF. Oh, he's torn. He's torn.
This is such bad acting, though. Like I could see this in a fucking Hallmark movie.
And he walks away. Come on.
You have no.
If I was right there, I would have had MJF come down like he was going to save Moxley and pin him.
You sit there
comes,
and you have him
he's in the ring.
Have him doing the shoving match with Bivens and all of that of like, I told you not to do this, da 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 da. And he's pushing, he's yelling at him all right now. Moxley, and then hits a salt to the earth. Oh, well, he's back in the ring now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's yelling at them all.
Please do it. Tony, if you have any huevos, do it.
Yes, you can. LOL.
What?
And Ethan Page just kicked MJF in the face. What?
Are we having the firm turn on MJF?
Yes. Because that's the dumbest, shittiest thing to do.
No.
It's such a jobber faction as it is. This is the fucking with Mankind, Ken Shamrock, and Test, and whoever else. So
I was happy about the only reason I was happy about the firm is because they're gonna build Ethan Page up, and he hasn't done.
Ethan Page would be good as a solo act. That's
what I'm saying though.
Like they're hired guns. Okay, so these are all they're all other heels on the promotion. And they're just hired gun mercenaries. That's fine. Do that.
Ethan Page and then Ego's Edge on MJF.
Just when we thought this was going to be good, you're proceeding to just fucking shit the bed as much as you can.
What is happening?
So your big thing was getting the firm over his heels tonight. That's what you were hoping for to leave your fans thinking about tonight.
If this is supposed to get MJF over as a babyface, no.
He was already over. You don't need to do this.
Cools him down a little bit more. It cools it down a little bit more.
You don't need to embarrass him. It doesn't matter. Heel or babyface, MJF dictated what the fans were going to do. If he wanted to be a prick tonight, he could have got them booing in a heartbeat. So
he was a prick and they still cheered.
Yeah.
Oh, this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit.
And now MJF's trying to fight back, and they're beating him down.
This is so long and drawn out, though, too.
The only way this makes any sense is
you're making him the baby face. Like, if this is a Swerve, okay, cool. So you just let a bunch of other dudes get out of you just to pull one over on some old fucking guy. Like, no, this is stupid.
That's the only way this works is if it is a Swerve, but it's a
fucking stupid Swerve.
It's a M. Night Shyamalan Swerve, and it's just fucking stupid.
The fans are quiet. There's no ring bell. There's no referee.
They're quiet.
There's nobody trying to stop this. This is just an outright mugging with no sense of urgency, with no excitement. Like, we're not like, oh my god, poor MJF. It's just dull. We're
flat. Getting hungover Test, choke slamming MJF through a table while we're getting
hungover Test.
Yeah, for matches for Rampage and all of that. Like, fucking really? That's where
how it goes off the air. MJF's sitting through a table.
There you go. Victor's got an idea.
Ooh.
Failure.
Miro come out for the save.
You failed.
Well, tomorrow's going to be fun.
All
right.
I don't know.
AEW fans, defend that, please.
I might be better than you. Who knows? That's awesome.
Right, perfect. Shit, man.
I see. I've been saying since this whole like MJF might be a babyface, like he needs to do the, I'm really the devil and all that stuff.
Yes,
but I don't think that's the way to do it.
Yo, wait. I just came back from commercial. Like it went blank, but I came back. Oh no, then I left again.
I was gonna say funny. I got young Sheldon, but no. To me, if you're gonna do, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist and all of that. Like you could have him tease the whole babyface, but I still think you have him take the shot on Regal. You still have him just be this sadistic motherfucker.
Yeah, because once the devil was exposed as the devil, then he goes ripsaw and destroys. Because now the cat's out of the bag. Okay, we've identified you as evil. Now, wage your war on heaven. Let's go.
You have him copy Bray like we're seeing on WWE of I'm going to do some terrible things on this journey, and I'm not going to feel bad for anything. Mm-hmm. That's what you have MJF do of just I'm going to do whatever the fuck I need to do to get where I want to be.
I think this is a byproduct of Chris Jericho being very close friends with Tony Khan. That's my theory. I could be completely talking out of my ass, but I do think that someone like Chris Jericho has part in this booking of like, he'd be amazing as a babyface. Let's just beat him up by a bunch of heels and the fans will love him. He was already over.
I'm willing to give it a chance. But listen. If it goes the way and he becomes a face, then I'm not okay with it. And I won't give any more chances. I'm willing to give it a chance and see what they pull out. But if they actually do this, then that's strike 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was a stacked card tonight. Literally a stacked card. We were all looking forward to it.
Matches were great.
The show wasn't terrible. But that ending leaves you like, oh, really? That's the end of the show? The firm?
People are going to talk about it.
The show was great until the end. It's one of those of I'm fully fine of if they just naturally, like, say if they had MJF, because he came out and he cut the whole promo in Cincinnati and everything. And then if he turned around and then he won the title by cashing in that night and the crowd cheers him, they decide to go that way. Then fine, you still have him act like this arrogant prick like he has the whole time. And if they cheer, they fucking cheer. If they boo, they fucking boo. You move on with it the way that it's been going this whole time. But this is just bad. This is overbooked nonsense of you're forcing a face turn on your best heel that you have in the promotion.
And what other heels do you have? Jay Lethal? You know what I mean?
Right. Jericho, supposedly.
Jericho is a heel. But
well, now you've built up W. Morrissey and Ethan Page and the Ass Boys, pause, and Lee Moriarty as your top heel. Bivens is your top heel potentially right now in AEW.
There's no way they go through with this. No. There's no. I can't accept it.
But the full-out beating makes no sense. Like, to Nick's point, what was hey, guys, kick the shit out of me so nobody knows I'm...
Right. Like, whoop my ass so people know I'm a babyface. What? When have you ever tried to, like, impress a girl or something like that and said, hey, buddy, kick the shit out of me so I look cool? What?
I mean, that's the only way it's, I had them do that to, fool you all or whatever. But like Nick said, he already did it with Punk, kind of, so unless he pulls the swerve like at full gear, and like, but then I don't know.
You have to do this. Why did you have to involve the firm to begin with? I still think you could have left it as MJF versus Regal, and maybe you get Regal that sides with MJF. I understand you don't. MJF does not be the mouthpiece, but if you sat there and had Regal on like commentary during MJF's matches and all of that, if you get that final BCC's done of everybody needs to be there, more solo acts of too many stars like Claudio, Mox, Danielson, all of that together, they all outshine each other. Too many stars, the light gets dimmed. But I could see that happening. but you don't need to involve the firm. You don't need to have this whole little weird beatdown of like what you even were saying, Big Rig, of you would be fine with it if he goes for the save on Moxley and then he swerves and he actually turns fully heel. But no, he faked the going in the ring and then he finally went in the ring and then just proceeded to get his ass handed to him.
Yeah, and I just mean, like, I think the firm served a purpose for him, especially if you're going to play him as the biggest heel in the company. You know, he's got this giant human firewall blocking the path to him. And he's got guys doing his bidding, and you got, you know, guys that eventually, with time, I don't think now's the time, but nobody gives a shit about Lee Moriarty or Ethan Page that much at this point, even though I think that can come. But I mean, it's like, who are these guys? Why do we care? Like, it's not like a group of like headliners taking out one of your top guys. It's nobody's.
Is you have a turn with no one built in it outside of MJF. No one was built up in that angle, that faction, that feud besides MJF.
I don't know if I go 2 or 4. That's harsh.
The fans' recency bias on this one.
Right. Oh, we even go that, you know, all the way down to a 0. Like, goddamn. Like,
but
y'all
that's
being
how
a little
much people
harsh right now.
MJF.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I still thought it was a great show. I'm just being harsh because you know, like I said before, I know what they can do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's a 2 out of 10 show or anything like that.
Oh, no,
I still
it was
thought
a
it was
great show. The ending
fantastic
was
show. Just ending was a little meh.
Yeah.
Which is just like the anniversary show. Anniversary show was awesome, and then Sammy getting the pin. Like, come on, you know, like even if we didn't know any of that stuff that night, so you know, run the audible and have Jericho get the. If you want them to go over, have Jericho get the pin, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to hoist Sammy on everybody's shoulders to make everybody like it. I don't know. It just,
you're right.
It's just overbooking nonsense is what it is. It's, to me, I guess I'll kick off our ratings. To me, this gets a 5. Fitting with MJF, this is fully a mid show of, like you were saying, Big Rig, of the card itself was stacked. It was a fantastic show up and literally until the end. And that end was so bad that it's just like went so far in the wrong direction. Like, that's how you end your show. That's how you end your prime time. Like you were saying earlier, you have 3 hours of television. That's how you end your Monday Night Raw ends with MJF getting jobbed out by the firm. What?
yeah. I mean, I would say I'm gonna go 7 out of 10. I mean, I thought the rest of the show was really good, just with in-ring, and I know people didn't like FTR losing, but I thought that was actually done well. And I mean, you know, Danielson finally got a win. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
But the last one, that definitely takes it, you know, takes it down for me to the end of that. I mean, because obviously Penta versus Mox was a great match, but
pretty good, yeah.
That ending. I mean, we knew with
now though.
5 minutes left, it does bring a shadow over it. But
you had 5 minutes of your top heel, your number one contender, your challenger with the poker chip, the Joker that you had return after that whole layoff. You had 5 minutes of him getting jobbed out by Big Cass and fucking Lee Moriarty and Grey Hair. What?
Yeah,
but I mean, it's also like, I still think it sucks, but there's also 6 or 7 of them. Like, you can't
to your point,
you know. So like, I get the angle. At least it wasn't like 2 people beating him up or something like that. But I'm hoping, which I said I'll give it a chance. I'm hoping that they have a good direction for this.
Fair enough.
And we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, this one's a tough one to grade because I liked a lot of the show within itself. Like, the main event match was good, but then we overshadowed it. Like, I guess Mox was just toast, right? At that point, they dummied him and then rolled him out because MJF became the focus. You know, usually the world champion being in the ring getting beat up, you'd almost kind of beat them both up because the champion matters. But no, the focus was on MJF. So that's an interesting tidbit for me.
Right.
I don't like what they're doing with MJF, and I know you're going to give it a chance, Big Rig, but for me, it's just it's just a little interesting in the sense of you had everything going. It was white hot. Like, he was vile. He came out and he spit on everything. He's, and they purposely set it up that way. For him to have any type of conscience, it blows my mind. Even if he just considers being a nice guy, when he's considered that handshake, I think you and I were live together, Big Rig, and we were like, well, wait, that doesn't.
What are you doing?
That's not the character you guys have written up for us.
And then that was the other thing that bothered me about that. Because that was the second. Which one went on first? Darby and Lethal or MJF Yuta? MJF Yuta started it off on that show. And that's when that's when I was on with you. So they did that. And then they did the very same thing the next match with the Lethal. Oh, I might give you a handshake. And then nothing came of that. Now Lethal's an a-hole again. Yeah. And it's like, why you booked the same match 2 matches in a row? And then to stick with the MJF stuff, it's like they never should have, like, you got people cheering him, whatever. Okay, just make him, he can do it. Just make him boo you. Make the audience boo you. MJF is fully capable of that. Just keep going.
Yeah, and we talk about him naturally getting cheers because he just kind of, like everyone else, when they start respecting what you're doing, you start getting cheers. But he's good enough where he walks out and he tells them, don't start cheering for me. Fuck you guys. Like, he has no problem pulling that back into that heel realm where he needs them to be. So I just don't understand it. Like, it's like you bring up your GPS and you follow the map, and then right before the end, you just hang a Louis and say, fuck it, I'm going this way. And can't figure out why you never got to your
Michael
destination.
Scott and drive into the lake.
Moxley is your biggest babyface. You should have MJF as your biggest heel. And that's the way that works. If you want your biggest heel to be challenging your biggest babyface, not your biggest babyface versus you're building your biggest babyface. Right. It's a terrible way to go about towards.
So like, what are you going to do at Full Gear? Like, if MJF's a babyface, is just going to be a bunch of let's go or MJ.
You're going to spot to where he goes to put on the diamond ring and he goes like he's going to hit Moxley and he hesitates, and then that's when Moxley hits the paradigm shift.
Oh, fuck off, dude.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying that's going to be the end of the match, but I'm telling you that spot's going to happen.
Could.
I don't know. We still got a little time, so we'll see. We'll see what next week brings. I'm hoping that they start bringing Rampage back into the fold where it actually continues storylines instead of just being an hour-long show where they have some matches. I mean, because it's always a fun watch. Like, if you just want to watch some good in-ring stuff, but like it doesn't feel like it really matters all that much.
Oh no, it's run over from Dynamite.
Yeah. It's not even. It's just these random kind of like mid-level matches. It's like Thursday Night Thunder, unfortunately. Yeah, where in the beginning there was a bit of bleed over from Dynamite, where you're like, oh, we can't fit this great match in. You'll see it on Friday. Right. Oh shit.
And I understand, I know not right now, but like they do have to tape them, so that does hinder, because you can't do anything big because it's just going to get spoiled. You know what I mean? So it's like,
if you did it live, it'd be different.
No, I know, and that's what they're doing, these live rampages, which I feel like is them kind of testing the waters, but they're still not. I mean, they had a chance. What was that? The first live rampage where they had Battle of the Belts right after?
Yeah.
You had a chance to do some title changes on that, and they didn't.
No, they were meaningless matches.
I mean, Dark Order winning the trios titles on Rampage was a slam dunk, and they didn't do it.
True.
They don't have, and I'm not saying I want to watch titles get hot potatoed everywhere, but we don't need 8 to year-long reigns for every single title, I don't think.
No. This point, Rampage is Hook and the Dark Order show.
Yeah. Pretty much.
10 out of 10 from Chris, by the way.
But no Bailey.
He's on some stuff. No, my rating, I'll give it an even 5 because originally, like going into kind of the main event, I was leaning like 6, maybe a 7. Like I enjoyed a lot of like parts of that were good, and I think we kind of talked about it earlier. All three of us as fans of, we know what this could have been, and then you get really bummed out because you're like, fuck, that's not at all. And the fans shouldn't always get what we want, but what you give us has to make sense for us to go, okay, fine. So We'll see how it plays out over the next couple of weeks. But FTR lost, MJF gets jobbed out. I can't give it higher than a 5.
Fair enough.
All right. As before we head to the door, pretty much a lot of the fans, echoing kind of the same idea that they're not happy. I don't know what Timothy just said there.
All right. Timothy.
Thanks.
Learn how to read.
The big hog.
The big hog? No, we cover the hog on Saturday.
On that. I respect you. I like you, Big Ray, but I'm not calling you the big hog. Pause.
What is that real quick? So as it stands, the top heel in AEW is it's Chris Jericho. And this is, I think Chris Jericho is like Tony. MJF should be a babyface. He'd be awesome. Because now Jericho's the best heel in the company.
I'm the top heel. Then no one's a heel besides me.
Is that too conspiracy theory?
Is that too much of a fuck you, Chris Jericho?
A little biased.
A little bit.
Don't
get me wrong. I am the biggest, I'm like you, Nick. I love Eddie Kingston more than anything. If you watch our show, me and Brando go at it every single week. I have clips loaded up of Eddie Kingston tapping out Jericho at Revolution just to play whenever I want.
Yes.
I have Danielson tapping him out whenever he starts getting real too Jericho-y. I
was fine with Chris Jericho of when you had the man of 1,001 holds of arm move number 1, arm bar, move number 2, arm drag, and then you go to commercial and come back. Move number 35, arm bar.
114.
But now it's just he drags down. He's the Hulk Hogan of he has nothing left to give, and everyone still just kind of wants to keep, acting like he's great because it's Chris Jericho and what he did before. But now he weighs down every story he feels like he needs to be attached to.
If anyone out there's ever played any form, I don't know what you call it in the States, but we call it beer league. So once you're kind of done with playing competitive sport, you graduate to men's league, right?
Yeah,
so hockey, baseball. If you ever played beer league hockey or softball or whatever, it's that one guy that was really fucking good growing up, or he played some college ball and then now he's just playing with the mutts, but he slipped off but he still thinks he's amazing. And he's the one that wants to tell you how amazing he is all the time. And I think that's where my contention with Jericho comes in, is he's consistently telling me how awesome he is. And I'm like, stop it.
That's what we get that in softball down here.
Yeah.
Adult league softball, you get the guys that literally have the baseball pants on and stuff. And it's dude, just wear shorts.
They show up like Aaron Judge is walking up to
they got the bat bag and everything. It's relax. So yeah, I mean, I'm not that much against Jericho, but I do feel like there have been quite a few stories as of late that, like you said, Nick, he has drugged down a little bit. Last summer when I loved the feud with him and MJF, making him go through the trials. That was great. But then MJF should have beat him at All Out.
Yes.
There was no reason for him to beat MJF. Zero. That was the dumbest thing ever.
That's the problem with Jericho's feuds, is you had it to where they were good feud, and then
they
Jericho
dragged
goes
on
over at the end, and okay, well maybe this one, and it's still a good feud, but Jericho still goes over at the end. Okay, and then now we're third trying. Okay, well Jericho still goes over. What? And then now it's just Jericho wins. Lol. It's like John Cena of anytime Jericho's in a match, you anticipate Jericho's going to win just because that Chris Jericho's in tight with the owner of the company.
Well, and you got the Eddie Kingston feud. He put Eddie over at Revolution,
right?
And then they had the freaking barbed wire everywhere match at Shark Week or whatever.
Yeah,
Dynamite that was. Why did Eddie lose? Why? Explain that to me, please. It made no sense. But
You had the Anarchy in Arena match that meant nothing at this point. Like, does anyone really remember?
It meant a couple concussions.
Yeah.
We got one of the greatest images ever of Eddie Kingston bloody face with a gas can, but
that was a pretty good one. God, that made no sense either.
And we got one of the greatest calls from JR ever when him and Eddie and Daddy Magic were going at it by the concession stand. And he's like spraying mustard on him, and JR goes, "What's next? Dippin' Dots?" And I popped so hard for that.
They're fighting right in front of us, folks. Good God Almighty!
Oh my God! So, but yeah, I agree with you what you were saying earlier. JR is definitely getting to that cantankerous old man, which I think he needs to do.
He's good for interviews, like backstage.
Yeah, do the backstage. That's what I was just gonna say. Do the backstage, like how he used to do with Mankind and stuff like do those backstage sit downs. He's great for that,
right? Or
bring him in for like a big main event match or something. You know what I mean? He did, which I know they've been kind of phasing him out. Yeah, they've been phasing him out a little bit, which is good. And I love JR. I've always loved JR, but he's definitely all right. We're on the last leg. Let's, and that's why I want them to bring, Caprice Coleman, Ian Riccaboni, whatever. Like, bring them in, don't just bring them on for ROH stuff. Just make them AEW commentators, please. Yeah.
They're better than your AEW commentators. Use them.
I love Taz, though. I'll say that. I think Taz is phenomenal.
Taz is great for the memes. Like, Taz is great on Dark Elevation. I can miss him on actually commentating on a match. But
I think it's
a 4-man, a 3-man, a 2-man, a 5-man what for a commentary table.
Yeah.
No, that's where I gotta disagree. I think he brings a lot, especially like when he like breaks down like different moves and like how people get out of them and stuff. I love that stuff. So
fair enough.
That's why I really like Taz. But if you ever do get a chance to watch Dark Elevation, Ian Riccaboni and Daddy Magic on commentary is freaking gold.
Oh wow, yeah.
Daddy Magic.
I cannot imagine Coke as I've called him on commentary.
So funny, dude. Oh my gosh, he's great.
Amazing.
Like on Dark Elevation this week, it was in kayfabe. They were doing it a week later, but it was actually at Cincinnati. So like they were talking. Daddy Magic's like, we cool now. We cool now. He's like, you came over and dragged me over, and Jericho was gonna hit me, and he was like, no, I was making sure you got up out of your seat okay. You know what I mean? Like, just stupid stuff like that. He cracks me up.
But see, that's cool if they wanted to, like, even if they had a Ring of Honor show and they wanted to do commentary a little bit like that of it, like kind of more playful of that. But that's one thing. But I guess I'm just trying to, they need to either fully commit one way or not. The dip in the toes into everything kind of throws me off.
Nice, Victor.
Mm-hmm.
Victor wants some Gordon Soley. That's all.
Why?
Oh, okay, there we go. But yeah, no, folks. Interesting night of Dynamite. A lot happened. A lot didn't happen. There's going to be lots to talk about, lots to debate, and lots to go through tomorrow night for Let's Rumble. Big Rig, what do you guys have going on over at the DWO podcast?
We will be live tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Talking about Raw and obviously tonight's episode of Dynamite and whatever other dad shenanigans we get into. We don't really like go match by match. We just kind of talk about what we thought in general, and then tend to get into some other antics. So that's always fun. Saturday we got an interview with a local wrestler. Well, she's local here. She has wrestled all over the place. Big Mama. She wrestles for NWF here locally in Cincinnati area. So that was a really fun interview. She's wrestled for Thunder Rosa's promotion at Mission Pro and stuff like that. She's been in the business like 16 years, something like that. So nice. She's that was a really cool interview, kind of getting her insight, especially, being a woman in the wrestling business, kind of where she started and where she's at now. So that's dropping on Saturday. Just had one drop yesterday with the stepdads. Check that out. That was a lot of fun. really insightful, but also a lot of fun. A lot of dad puns in that one. So
I was going to say a rivalry, a tale as old as time. Dad versus stepdads.
That is correct. Yeah, they. I believe Mike. You have to go watch it. Mike pulled a shot on him pretty early. It was pretty funny. Just dad puns all over the place. But yeah, those guys are awesome. So check them out. Check us out. I really appreciate you guys having me on here. This has always been just a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot.
No, that's awesome, man. We greatly appreciate it. Big Nick, how you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic. Make sure, especially in honor of, the Dad World Order and everything, go ahead and, tweet that like and subscribe button. But our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you're talking about the wrestling, go ahead and put that forward life with it.
See you on the flip side, folks. Thank you.